And most especially, Father God, look down upon us and help us to be better neighbors. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yay, America. All right, we come to you. The citizens to be heard. Ms. Simmons, do we have any citizens? Having no citizens to be heard, we will skip this meeting and go on to number 6, the consent agenda. Approval of the minutes from the June, August, November 9th, and November 30th Master Plan Advisory Committee meeting. Did we get those? All right. Did everybody have a... Okay, and did everybody have a chance? Does anybody have any recommendations for? Do I have a motion to approve them all at the same time?
I motion to approve the minutes for June 1st, August 28th, November 9th, and November 30th. I second.
I have a motion.
Okay, that was, I sent you an updated agenda of a long list of minutes, so they should be May 4th, June 1st, November 9th, and November 30th. So if you could change for these,
May 4th.
May 4th, June 1st, November 9th, and November 30th.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes from the May,
To include May 4th.
to include May 4th, June 1st, November 9th, and November 30th.
As yeah. Okay. I have the amended motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving to number 7, discussion action items. Discussion presentation by staff regarding an update to the city's comprehensive master plan and IH-10 corridor plan, including a welcome and instructions and vision statement, guiding principles, and place types. Miss Lee.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our last meeting here in this facility. We certainly enjoyed having it, but we're looking forward to be back at City Hall very soon. So wanted to just take a moment and walk you through what we're going to be doing tonight. As you've seen, it's probably a little bit different layout than a lot of our traditional meetings. So tonight, Aaron Spencer and our city manager, Wayne Reed, and I are going to be walking you through a 3-part workshop. The first component is going to be a consensus building workshop. We're going to be using some of those interactive exercises and questions to really help engage all of you specifically on building what we hope is going to be an inspiring vision statement. The second portion we'll move into is Aaron is going to help facilitate a discussion specific to the guiding principles that we've had some discussion on in the past that you have helped develop and ensure that we agree that they are comprehensive and appropriate for the study. And then if time allows, I will help lead the last part where we're going to cover some of the land use place types. So remember, there's about 11 of them that are currently being proposed. We certainly won't have time to go through all of them, but we'd like to get through maybe up to 4 of them and just make sure that, again, we're moving forward with agreement or if there are any adjustments that need to be made, that we're incorporating those. And so we do have some snacks in the back. Please help yourself at any time through this. But at this point, I am going to turn it over to Mr. Reed, and we are actually going to start moving around. Where would you like us to start?
We'll do the vision building over here, and then when we're done with that, everybody will move over to these tables, and we'll work on the principles there, and then we're going to move you back over here to do the place types.
You want to move the tables?
everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thank you for being here tonight. Y'all have been at this for several months right now. And so what
She
we
hot
wanted to
micing
do as a
us?
staff is get to a point where you feel confident that you have a vision statement that you feel describes a forward-looking and strategic image of the community, a statement that may inspire and motivate people about our community, one that describes our community's benefits and its aspirations for the future, a statement that communicates our unique character or something that makes us different from other cities, and a statement that's like a North Star. It remains a guide for us during changing times. So a vision statement should be constant, should not be something that has to change just because we're 5 years down the road, right? It reflects your aspirations for what we want to be as a community.
So for clarity, I just want to make sure that we all understand what the vision statement is intended for, and that is for the document.
That is correct. It goes into the comprehensive plan, right? So at the very top, you have your vision. and
For the
then
document,
for
not for the
comprehensive
city.
plan. Correct.
Okay.
It's for the comprehensive plan. It is the community vision. Now I was going to get into the council's vision statement, which is a different vision
Yes.
than, as it's for the council, which drives the organization. Your vision is representing the community and the growth of our community. Okay. So, in doing this, y'all have done a lot of work on it, but at the last workshop, I really felt like maybe there was a stumbling block, some hurdles where I didn't feel y'all getting around this draft mission statement. I believe there are some really good elements in that draft vision statement. Tonight's goal over the next hour or more is hopefully to build a consensus around a final form for your vision statement. So, to get into this, these are the main elements of the vision statement. It is also on page 8 of your packet. And page 8. We may have written these a little bit different, but they're the same ones as what's in it. I want you to think about those main elements of the vision statement as we work on this. And for you to question, is the vision statement you're building hitting those main elements? Okay? So, before we get going, I've done a lot of vision building, but mostly mission building workshops. And when we do that, I often like to start off with a video that talks about how to build a mission statement. But in this video, you can replace mission with vision. It works the same way. So this is an example led by a consultant who talks about how not to build a mission statement. Aaron's going to start this. It's a short video. It's just under 4 minutes.
I want to show you why most mission statements are so terrible. So let's say that you own a chain of pizza parlors, and maybe you have a mission statement that you drafted, and it says something like, our mission is to serve the tastiest damn pizza in Wayne County. Now, that's pretty good, if you ask me. If I was one of your employees, I could get excited about that. But here's where things go off the rails. So you invite all your colleagues to come join you and to help you wordsmith this thing. And you all sit around the table, and right in front of your eyes, a transformation happens. All of these people who you like and respect suddenly become 10th grade English teachers and begin to nitpick every word of this thing.
Hey, I really like the word present better than serve. It has a nice resonance.
We obviously can't say damn. And why limit ourselves to Wake County?
You guys, I know our pizza is good, but what about the calzones and salads? Why don't we just say highest quality Italian food?
Our Greek salad is Italian.
We haven't even talked about the atmosphere yet, the big comfy booths and the kids' birthday parties and all that.
Yeah, great point. You know what we're really doing here? We're providing a family entertainment solution.
Yeah, solution. Nailed it. And everyone's excited now. You're almost there. And then Steve at the end of the table pipes up.
Listen, guys, we haven't mentioned anything about integrity. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, integrity.
And is anyone at the table going to rise up and go to the mat against the word integrity being in the mission statement? Doubtful. So presto, that's in. And now here's your new and improved mission statement. Our mission is to present with integrity the highest quality entertainment solutions to families. I know this is a little bit silly, but you gotta admit, this is what 99% of mission statements sound like. And now you know why. There's this cycle of making words more ambiguous and more fancy until all of the meaning, leaches out. Here's how to avoid that. 2 tips. Number 1, use concrete language. Great example comes from this fast-growing small business called Sonic Things. Check this out. We want to help musicians get gigs and promoters book the right bands. We're a bunch of people who think that music can truly change the world and make it smaller and better. I love that. I think it gives you a picture of exactly what they do and also gives you a hint why they might want to do that. And that brings us to the second point, which is talk about the why. Most mission statements are really long on statement and really short on mission. And the whole point of this is to talk about why you're doing what you do. You've got to talk about what makes you care. So let me give you a famous example from Johnson & Johnson. This is the first line in their credo. Our first responsibility is to the doctors, nurses, and patients, mothers and fathers, and all others who use our products and services. Well, all right. That's something that you could get out of bed to go do. Now contrast that with the guiding principles of ExxonMobil. Did you feel that? A little part of your soul just died in that mission statement. So now you've seen why bad mission statements happen to good people, and I've given you 2 tips for avoiding that fate. If you're interested in learning more about writing a great mission statement, go to fastcompany.com/e.
All right, so there's a distinction between mission and vision statement. So on page 7 of your handout, you turn to page 7. Where he talked about concrete language, that's very appropriate for mission statements. So vision statement is where we want to be or what we want to become. A vision is to be pursued for its accomplishment. In contrast, a mission statement, which that's what he was focused on, is a cause of achieving the vision. So in the city of Cibolo, every service area has its mission statement. It explains, it answers the questions: who are our customers? How do we add value? If not for this area of service, what would not get done? It's what you walk in the door every day to accomplish, which then aligns with council's vision, so that if we're fulfilling our mission statement, we should be supporting council to achieve its vision statement. So this is the council vision statement for the organization. A community that's proud of its historic roots, responsive to residents, and innovative for our future. So the city manager's mission statement is to assist city council in being stewards of public resources to achieve its vision through strategic planning, fostering partnerships, investing in our employees, setting the standards for quality service delivery. Okay, so we set the standard and ensuring we have quality service delivery. So there's 5 main elements of what I do to ensure that council's vision is being achieved. And I work very hard through strategic planning every year with council so that we know what we need to chip off or work on over the course of the year, so we incrementally are achieving this vision that you see up above us. So a mission, concrete language, is slightly different than a vision. So I just wanted to point that out after that video. So we're going to show you one more video. It is only 1.5 minutes. And then after that, we're going to turn our attention to your draft vision statement. notice here, they connected their mission with their principles. And so what I'm going to do with you as we work on your vision is, I want you to refer to your principles. You don't have to state explicitly in your vision statement what is explicitly stated in your principles. So we'll hit on that later. Thank you, Aaron. Keep going. There you go. I love the Nike one because I was a runner, and I only bought Nike shoes when I was a runner until I got to college, and then I switched over to ASICs. But Nike truly inspires people to be their best, right? Several of those were very inspiring, but for me, Nike hits home because I can relate to how Nike has done that for athletes across different sports. Remember when they landed Michael Jordan? And he was a brand new rookie, and they made a deal with him? They've definitely inspired athletes. That shoe still is one of the top sellers. You know he earns over $200 million off of that endorsement annually? At least last time I looked it up. It is amazing.
And Spike Lee says it's the shoe. It's the shoe.
It's the shoe. All right, so now we're going to turn our attention back over to this wall. And if you go back to page 8, again, keep this in mind. These are the main elements of a vision statement. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. I would say I think some vision statements are more inspiring and more motivating than others. I think some paint a clearer picture of why I want to move to a community, or why I wouldn't want to go to this other community. I think some vision statements make it very clear what a company's brand distinguishes it from another company. But there's no right or wrong way of doing this, and you're going to see through the examples that are in your packet and that we've printed on large paper here. And we're going to go through a series of questions, some reflective questions, objective questions, and just ask, what are you thinking? What does this make you think about as we go through these different vision statements from other communities and from some private companies? All right, so you have DeSoto in your packet. See the DeSoto one?
Football. Is that their mission statement? Football champion?
No, but
No?
that could have been part of it, right? So it says DeSoto is a community where individuals and families thrive. Located in southwest corner of Dallas County, DeSoto is a place full of opportunity, diverse with people and businesses, and unique natural areas. We honor diversity, celebrate cultural arts, and embrace our small town character. We offer quality living and housing opportunities, friendly neighborhoods, an outstanding school system, accessible health care, shopping and dining options, and a variety of recreational amenities. That's their vision statement for their 2015.
How big is DeSoto? I mean, I guess the school district's the same as Steele, but I mean,
Aaron's at a computer. He's going to look up DeSoto.
the population compared to Cibolo?
DeSoto is a large suburb of southern Dallas. That's all.
Here's Schutz's. This is their vision statement. 3 words: community, service, opportunity. Seabrook, a city of the southeast portion of Houston, not along the I-45 corridor, but you get to it off the I-45 corridor. It says Seabrook is a sustainable, energetic, and beautiful coastal community that embraces environmental stewardship, fosters safe neighborhoods, and promotes tourism and economic diversity. From their 2020 Seabrook.
Oh, it's up there. Thank you very much.
Doubles the size of Cibolo. A little bit.
Not
Oh,
quite.
Less than that.
Little,
Almost.
not quite.
Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to read the corporation vision statements. You have them in your booklet. Plus you have Habitat in your booklet. We didn't put that one in large format. IKEA, to create a better everyday life for the many people. This vision goes beyond home furnishings. We want to have a positive impact on the world, from the communities where we source our raw materials to the way our products help our customers live a more sustainable life at home. Southwest, to be the world's most loved, most efficient, and most profitable airline. LinkedIn, create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Notice how some of these are structured. Short to 3 words. Nothing else to say about it. DeSoto has a clear statement. It describes a little bit more about the community, and then it really dives deep. But they separated it into 3 distinct parts versus one big paragraph. IKEA, their vision statement is 1 sentence. We go on to clarify, kind of like DeSoto does, very clearly, one bold and in quotation marks. The rest is just an explanation. Seabrook was able to do it in 1 very long sentence. And Southwest Airlines and LinkedIn, they're very focused, right? They are not trying to be all things to all people. Okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions, and that is, which one of these vision statements evokes a strong emotion or a positive response from you when you think about the community or the company? So which one evokes a strong emotion from you?
I think the one that stood out initially was Seabrook.
Okay. Anything, Christy, you can share with us, like why does that evoke an emotion from you?
Well, it talks about environmental stewardship and safe neighborhoods, and it's a active community with tourism, and it has all kinds of economic, so it's kind of, it talks about sustainability, energetic, beautiful, and I like the coast, so hey, that was it.
Thank you.
I like DeSoto. I like the first sentence. It's quick, it's to the point, and it covers it all. And then they expand upon it in the following 2 paragraphs. I like DeSoto's. I like that DeSoto and Seabrooks are both from their comp plans, because I feel like there's a difference between a vision statement for a comp plan versus a vision statement for a company or a city. And so I focus more on those 2 than I did the others. I understand why the others are in there, but yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm trying just to get you
Yeah.
in a creative mindset right now.
I like kind of a combination, but primarily IKEA. I like the way it flows.
Okay?
I like the flow of it. It starts off with, kind of like DeSoto does. DeSoto is a community where, individual family thrives. To create a better, they start off with a statement of, so, but then IKEA has a flow to it, so it's easy to read, easy to take in, easy to grasp.
Might get Kelsey just to write a few things down. You like the easy flow of the vision statement, the IKEA one.
I like the grabbing entry line and the way it flows. It grabs you, and you're able to read it and stay with it.
Yeah.
Not jump around and chop.
Actually,
DeSoto's,
what were you saying about DeSoto's?
DeSoto's pretty much the same. That
Okay.
first sentence, it really gives you a highlight. It's the title, it's what brings you in, and then they expand upon it as they go on to the next 2 paragraphs.
So there's a saying around vision statements, a vision statement not repeated is quickly forgotten. And
That's
so how
true.
can you be inspirational, motivated if you can't even remember the statement? It's quickly forgotten. The community, we're really writing this one for the community, but when we're trying to brand Cibolo to a company that's trying to locate, to a family that's considering where to move, if we have this opening vision statement that they can go, I like that. I might like to learn more about that community. That helps people understand who we are. And it's very short and sweet, memorable. So a vision statement that is not repeated is quickly forgotten. I think we need to remember that as you're working on your vision statement. Okay, DeSoto is the same thing. It's an easy flow, and they make the opening statement.
It
and then
catches
they
you.
separate the follow-up to it. Okay.
So I really like the shirts idea, but
Simplicity.
the simplicity, because really honestly, with this plan, what we're trying to do is, when we say well-balanced commercial and residential, where residents collaborate to shape their future, when I think about the plan and I think about how shirts, I wouldn't do it quite that
Bold.
Not that simply.
yeah, I would say something like Cibolo is, to preserve its small town charm or to enhance its small town charm is providing for a well-balanced development and resident collaboration in its future. And then you can go, and then it basically says what we want well-balanced development, and we want the people of the city to be
Yeah.
part of the future development of it. And then the priorities, the guiding principles or whatever would support that ideology. So that's why I think I like shirts is the best. Although Habitat for Humanity,
Yeah.
we're a world where everyone has a decent place to live. Well, we're kind of saying that, like with this master plan, we want everybody in Cibolo to have fair development standards, fair, not burdensome or ornery. I don't know. So that's my 2 cents.
And I see what you're talking about, simplicity on shirts. My problem with shirts is it's too community, service, opportunity. It's too, can I say, rigid?
Sounds like a military slogan.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I was
That's what
gonna
it
go.
sounds like to me, a
Being a military brat,
slogan.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it does,
honor.
yeah, it
I
doesn't
can see
draw,
that.
yeah,
Integrity.
it doesn't draw
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
in because it doesn't have any kind of,
Sounds like a military slogan.
I mean, so broad, I can get anything out
It
of
is a
that.
military
I mean,
town.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
it's
and that's
civil,
why I
but
think
that's-
we
but don't
want it-
wanna just attract military.
We want to be able to say something like about the development. That's what we're trying to achieve with the master plan is future development. So well-balanced development.
Just balanced development. I don't think you have to say well, but yes.
So
I like that.
let's not focus on our
Right,
vision
not yet.
vision statement right now.
okay.
Okay.
I want you to be focused on these main elements of a vision statement,
Okay.
right? Creatively, and then we're gonna jump right back into your vision statement.
Okay.
I
So-
thought we were doing that, sorry.
Not yet.
No, we're
I
getting
heard
there.
jump and I was like going for it.
She said how high?
So you've talked about which ones strike you as being motivational or inspirational, evokes emotion, right? Which one describes the benefits for existing or an aspiration of the future?
Oh.
Southwest.
Okay, Southwest. How do they do that?
The benefits is, they're, as a customer, they're profitable, and, because I know this, and they're most efficient, and they want to be the world's most loved.
How do they express that love to their customers?
Well,
In
they
their
give you
daily-
love coupons to drink. They do
That
give
heart
you
at the
love,
end.
that's right. They give you love coupons for drinks, and they do have the heart, and, yeah. So they, Southwest shows us
Yes.
their vision. Better than their mission, they show us their
Do you
vision.
think that their staff's aligned, their behaviors are aligned with being the most loved?
And I think that they go after employees that align with it. So they keep that in mind when they take on new employees. I don't think that it works the other way. I don't think that they hire employees and then indoctrinate them. I think that they hire people that will fit that, which is big.
I was just laughing because Southwest is awesome to fly on.
Yep.
Well, part of their interview process is you have to be able to tell a joke. So they're indoctrinated from the beginning
Yeah.
and getting the people that,
Break them out of their shell and, yeah, get
Yeah.
to know the person. Yeah, that's good. That's a good interview thing. I don't think I'm gonna have any interviews anytime soon, but that's a good idea.
Which one talks about where the community or company is heading?
habitat,
Okay.
because they
Yeah.
want everybody to have a place to live.
The world, yeah.
How
And
about one of the
LinkedIn.
community?
Yeah, LinkedIn too.
And LinkedIn as well.
LinkedIn, okay. What about one of the community examples? I'm sorry, we could have given you 10, 20 community examples, and we just picked a few just to show that there's a great variety out there.
You wanted to say where it's going?
Yeah,
When you read it, does it
looking
give you a
ahead.
picture of where it's headed?
Yeah, well, IKEA for sure does. A better everyday life for many people.
To me, DeSoto nor Seabrook, and maybe I'm not looking at it well, neither one of them tell me where they're going.
I
Okay.
agree.
They tell me where they are.
Yep,
Yeah.
what they currently are.
Right? So are those statements truly forward-looking?
To me,
No.
they are not.
I agree.
None of them, yeah, none of the community ones.
I agree.
Well, sustainable means that they're trying to put things in place that have longevity, but
But they
It's
don't talk
just-
about the future at all,
It says it is a sustainable, energetic, and beautiful coastal community.
which
It-
means it'll just stay the same.
It sustains, that's exactly right. I'm a
So
word.
remember, when you're working on your vision statement, how is it describing the reason for its existence or where we are heading as a community? So think about that, right? So you're knocking some other communities, they're good vision statements, but do they hit some of these main elements? And it's hard to write a vision
Right.
statement that hits all these elements. I think what DeSoto did do well is it followed up after the vision statement, right? So you can hit all of those, but it's hard to have one sentence that does it all. But y'all noted how LinkedIn and Southwest hit on some of these. It's possible, right? Okay, so which one, and think about the communities, which one describes a unique character or something that makes it different from other cities?
Beautiful coastal community.
You know where Seabrook is, right? Is it in the mountains?
No.
It's a coastal community. You know exactly when you read that, what you should expect to see when you arrive.
well, I mean, okay.
That community has a natural feature that it could incorporate.
Yeah, I mean, DeSoto talks about that too. They talk about the
Unique.
different the variety of recreation amenities, and they talk about, where is it? Unique natural areas. It doesn't give you much other than that, but yeah, I mean, Seabrook does better.
Is there one that, as you read it, acts as a North Star? It could be a guide for the decisions that a community's gonna make, the strategies it might adopt.
IKEA, because they want to make a positive impact on the world.
Yeah.
Well, LinkedIn wants to create economic opportunity.
Say that again? Who?
LinkedIn wants to create economic opportunity.
What does Seabrook?
Yeah, they want to foster safe neighborhoods, promote
Safe
tourism and
neighborhoods.
economic diversity.
They talk about embraces environmental stewardship. So you get a sense of, these are their North Stars, and there are gonna be some strategies, right? You wouldn't do that vision statement and not have a principle that addresses the natural environment, right? And I'm not just saying in an easy or soft way, man, they're gonna go hard to protect those natural features because they believe being a coastal community might as well embrace it. And that can quickly get decimated if you're not going to protect it through your regulations. All right, can you offer your thoughts on how one of these vision statements from the 3 cities would lead you to believe it's a place you would want to live or work? Out of the 3 we gave you? Or is there one that doesn't make you feel that way?
Besides, I like fishing at the coast, Seabrook.
Okay. Okay, there you go.
I think DeSoto, I mean, I think, and this is just because I have children still in school, but that they talk about the outstanding school system, accessibility to healthcare. Those are all things that are important to our family.
And for me, for DeSoto, we honor diversity, celebrate cultural arts, and embrace our small town character. So those hit me.
I just think it's wildly overstated, because I know DeSoto.
So do I. I know DeSoto well.
Yeah, but
I
I
love
do
DeSoto.
think, yeah.
It used to be a rougher part of town, right?
I love it. And no, it's not. It's maybe where your people are, but where my people are in DeSoto, it's
What do you mean by that?
very, very, she said, it's a rougher part of town. That's what she said. So what I mean by that is, where my people, my family lives in DeSoto is really, really, really nice. Just like Cibolo has some rough
Nice,
parts
yes.
of town.
Every
There's
town does.
Every town has that.
Yeah.
And I know that the lower.
Everybody got to live somewhere.
Say it again. Say it one more time for people in the back.
I said everybody's got to live somewhere.
Well, Seabrook says fosters safe neighborhoods. Doesn't one of them say friendly neighborhoods or friendly? Oh, that's DeSoto, friendly neighborhoods.
So I think y'all are just pointing out some great things about these vision statements. And recognize, right, you're gonna take a vision statement, which doesn't say everything, but these are the main elements. Your principles come up behind it and really dig a little bit deeper. And after principles in your strategic, in your comprehensive plan, you're gonna have objectives and goals, right? Those go to a more defined and explanatory level. So we're at the high level, these are the foundations.
Well, it's just I'm sorry, but this document that we're getting ready to create is it is a guiding principle or guiding idea of the future
That's right.
that has serious requirements for the government, for the municipality, for the bureaucrats, for y'all, to assign and invest in creating this future. And so if we're making the vision statement about some made up construct of I want the vision statement, I would like to see the vision statement focus on what is the role of the master plan? What and how do we support the growth and development within the city? And make sure that folks know that our master plan vision isn't just like some I'm almost gonna say it.
Some report that nobody's gonna look
Yeah,
back
it's a
on.
bunch of crap. It's like this document is getting ready to say, is getting ready to delve into the strengths and weaknesses and the threats. And we're committed to ensuring that, like I'm telling you right now, Ashley, Claudia, we haven't done it. We had a master plan, said all kind of stuff, lots of words. And I want the focus of the vision or the mission or whatever you want to call it to be about actually adhering to
Creating a framework and making sure that it's followed.
C, senorita. Because if we don't focus on that, I mean, we could just say anything then, I don't care. Do shirts, community service
I
opportunity.
have a question in relationship to your statement. these are the city's vision statements, not the master
Yeah,
plan.
just these two are.
Right.
They come
Two of
from
them
the
are
conference.
master plan.
They come, from,
Yes.
okay, I missed that.
Yeah, these are their
somewhere.
master plans, so they're comp
Okay,
plans.
okay, so I wanted to make sure. So my question to you, is, I want to put these in very simple, plain words. How can we make a master plan vision statement that will, because I don't know how, that's why I'm asking the question, I'm trying to frame it, the question. How can we make a master plan vision statement that does all of that, of what you said? Make sure they do this, make sure we do this, make sure we do that. How can we make a good master plan vision statement that ensures this, and this? Because I can't see it.
The priority in these other master plan vision statements was about the feeling that they wanted to evoke, or like he was talking about your feelings, and that's one of the reasons why shirts is a little bit more challenging, because
all that.
it's not a lot about the feelings. It's about community service and opportunity, and I don't care if you have feelings about it or not, right?
But that doesn't tell me that does not tell me what shirts offers me as a human that's coming to that city. It doesn't.
Yeah, and so when we choose to be descriptive and intentional with the words, I think they need to be about what are we trying to accomplish with the future land or the future plans, because we have a lot of history of not accomplishing it. And so from that history of not accomplishing it, we can be very deliberate in our words to say these like you said, just balanced development with human beings collaborating in the future, step by step for the future, and that we support, I want to say something about we support the infrastructure cost or the money necessary, or that we acknowledge that there is some form of commitment from our council and from our bureaucrats to actually enact these occurrences.
The
because
word you used earlier was invest.
invest.
And that is investment in all of those things.
Yes.
I would use the word invest, but what no matter what, this is just my opinion, no matter what we collaborate on as a vision statement, the bureaucracy, and we've learned that from our country, people are still going to do what they want to do. Period. That's it. So that's just how life is. Until
they are made accountable.
Writing a vision statement
Yes.
does not necessarily, unless you put the word severe integrity in it, okay? It's not going to hold people's feet to the fire.
This is just a mission
Well, their
statement.
management.
It's a vision
Now,
statement.
I'd like to offer my perspective. And I'm going to use your council strategic plan, and I'm going to tell you this comes from 25 years in municipal government, in which I have worked for the city of Denton and was exposed at the entry level frontline planning in the planning department, how to manage growth and development. City of Arvada, where I moved up in a planning department and really took on more complex projects, but still on the current planning side, growth and development. And then the town of Berthoud, Colorado, where I was the planning director, and I did all of that stuff. We did the long-range plan, we did the UDC, we made regulations, we amended regulations, and we worked with capital improvements. It's a small town, very easy environment, very simple, not easy. And then I went to Centennial, Colorado for 10 years, where we work very strategically, a city of 100,000, we work very strategically with the council through its strategic planning process to overcome its obstacles, its weaknesses, its threats, to reinforce its strengths, internal, and its opportunities, the external, and we made incremental improvements to achieve council's vision. In economic development, one area where we were surrounded by regional malls, 3 regional malls surrounded our borders. They weren't in our borders, they were sucking sales, retail sales out of our city. 2 power centers, which are a step down from a mall, but it might include a Target, a Kohl's, right? A Best Buy. And it just sucked money out of our community. And we had lower per capita sales in our city and sales tax compared to Aurora, Colorado, Lone Tree, Colorado, Parker, Colorado. And so we did an assessment. What's the current lay of the land? We had a 1960s mall that it was bleeding money. It had a Macy's and a Sears as anchors, and nobody was shopping at Sears, right? We call Sears a retail dead man walking. And back then it wasn't as bad as it is today, but still those were the anchors, and the interior of the mall was almost vacant. The seniors walking in the morning were their biggest traffic. We had a dead mall. We had not a single power center, and outside of neighborhood residential, we were lacking. So the city worked with a master developer to redevelop the South Glen Mall, and it became the Streets at South Glen, a vertically mixed-use center that left the Macy's and the Sears, because they were going to move, they owned the lots. And in between that, they tore everything down. We brought a 12 or 14 screen cinema, the library, ground floor retail. Above ground floor was 4 stories of apartments, about 200 and some odd apart, 230. We had 2 floors of office, about 40,000 square feet of office, a central green space. Retailers that came were Whole Foods as an anchor. Think of Whole Foods became an anchor to a mall because they're attracting more traffic than Macy's or Sears all day long. We had a Best Buy, we had a furniture store. We ended up getting
H&M.
H&M. I mean, great. We had a regional mall where we had nothing before. We brought in IKEA. IKEA was negotiating with the adjacent community Lone Tree, which had the strongest regional mall in the entire Denver metro area. Park Meadows Mall. Look it up. It's still a mega center. And Lone Tree broke the confidence of IKEA by disclosing publicly that they were negotiating with them. And IKEA said, we need 2 things from you. We need confidence that you won't be speaking publicly about these negotiations, and all of our buildings are blue and yellow. Lone Tree thought very highly of itself and wanted it to be natural stone because that's what it did in all of its commercial development. And when they leaked it, they went up to the mayor and the city manager and said, we're done. They literally went 1 mile up I-25. They came to our city hall and said, we need 2 things from you. We need confidence that you're not going to talk about this until we're ready to disclose that we've picked a location, which they have. And secondly, we will do a blue and yellow building. I was the planning director, community development director at the time. So the city attorney and the city manager looked at me, what are we going to do? I said, you know.
Just say yes.
It was a little, it was a few words more. I said, you know what blue and yellow make?
Yeah.
They make a lot of green. And our
That's
community
right.
needs green to improve our streets, to improve our parks. And to serve
Why
our
we should
residents.
not have a color palette in our commercial.
IKEA landed its first store in the city of Centennial. And next to that was a power center that was in an unincorporated area but adjacent to our city limits. The roads around it were in our city, particularly the light signal. And so we have been trying to negotiate with Simmons. There's a national real estate firm, and they own the shopping center, and so they weren't moving. They would quote us, but they would never take us to the altar. So when we landed IKEA and it went public, we went to them, and we said, you have 60 days to sign this development agreement and annexation agreement. And if you don't, we're gonna close off that intersection with the light, and we're gonna move it up to support IKEA, and we were dead serious, we would have done that. They signed it in 30 days, we went through annexation.
How much did your city invest, and where did that money come from?
How
And-
much did we invest? We invested no upfront money in the streets at Southland. We did an urban renewal district, which set the cap of the property tax collection. And as the property valuations went up, we reinvested that money into the urban renewal district, which means if there were public improvements made, those who funded those public improvements were reimbursed. The city was not funding upfront capital improvements for the streets at Southland. But they had a model, and they had financial backers that would invest that money up front, and it was a pay-for-performance. If they didn't develop them all, it would have sat there. IKEA, we invested no money up front. We gave them back a portion of our sales tax.
And our EDC needs to be looking at that model as you go and do this park rebuild and all of that, what you're just talking about, that we're not.
Well, I would tell you that EDC is practicing pay-for-performance. HEB is a pay-for-performance, in which we gave no property tax, we gave a portion of sales tax as sales tax actually comes in. So we are doing extremely well, and it was a set amount. It wasn't like in perpetuity or for 5 years. If you build your store and open it by this date, we're gonna pay for I'm making up the numbers because I really forget, $450,000 for your public improvements. Those public improvements stay with the city regardless of HEB being there for 5 years or 50 years. So EDC has been practicing a pay-for-performance approach to incentive agreements, and that's the way it will
For
remain.
HEB, but not for the park. Just-
Well, no,
But
Ms.
that doesn't
Latimer,
have
Ms.
anything to
Latimer.
do with our vision.
Yeah, so Ms. Latimer,
Let's not-
the
let's
correct
not-
statement is we are
let's not go
putting no
there.
money into the development of that property for which there's not a pay-for-performance. So I would just want to correct the record that it's not correct to characterize the EDC as putting money into the development. That deal.
Or the city,
That
or the
deal,
city.
we're not even at that level, right? But I believe in pay-for-performance.
So,
So
for
IKEA
clarity.
was pay-for-performance, the power center was pay-for-performance, they brought in new revenue that we were not gonna receive. We gave them back money for public improvements, including parking lot improvements, landscape improvements, and signage improvements. And we made money hand over fist, which we used to improve the quality of our community. And then we got Topgolf. So you can understand, I'm gonna bring us back to the vision statement, but your vision statement isn't the shall make you accountable. Your vision statement are these things. So council strategic plan, when I got here, the city was very unsophisticated in a way in which it aligned what the community wanted to become with what it was doing day to day. So that's why I told council, I want us to go through strategic planning. I need you to come up with a vision and strategies that we're gonna employ every single year to incrementally chip away at those weaknesses and those threats to reinforce our strengths and take advantage of opportunities that are out there. And I'll give you examples. But their vision statement is supported by 6 strategies. Those 6 strategies, underneath those 6 strategies, we invest in specific goals that are identified, strategic goals, and underneath those actions. In the first year, there were over 135 actions, and we came back and we achieved more than 90% of them. When I say achieved, some of them were ongoing, like get the comprehensive plan going, right? But we are knocking it out of the park. In this year's fiscal year's strategic plan, we have over 170 actions. And so we are incrementally working on those strategies to fulfill that vision. So the vision, so the strategies are like your principles. Underneath your principles, you're gonna have strategic goals. Underneath those goals, we're gonna have specific actions that come down to individual years. Here's where we start to get more sophisticated as an organization, is we're gonna take the comprehensive plan. And when you say, here's our recommended comprehensive plan, P&Z, and P&Z takes that to council, and council says, we believe in what the MPAC and the P&Z and our community have pulled together. That vision statement is forward-looking, is motivational. It differentiates us from shirts. And you see this action plan. And so in our strategic planning session with council, we're gonna take your first year actions and we're gonna line that up into the FY '25 strategic plan for council. You want accountability, Ms. Latimer? So do I. And how I do that is I take this plan and I'm gonna feed that right in. EDC is doing a strategic plan. If there's something in there that the city needs to do versus the EDC, we're gonna put that in the annual council strategic plan. EDC is gonna have an annual strategic action plan. That's how you create accountability and integrity. So I don't want us to say that the vision statement is that must be accountable, must follow up. The vision statement isn't that instrument in the comprehensive plan. I already told you.
Well,
this is what
they
the
intended to
vision does.
describe the community's benefits and improvements in the future. One of the biggest parts of the improvement that Cibolo has to do is stick to the plan.
But that's not in a vision statement. That is through the other elements of the comprehensive plan.
Right, but the main elements of an effective vision statement are defines the community's benefits and improvements in the future. So,
Benefits and community, and improvements, here's the benefit, environmental stewardship. An improvement fosters safe neighborhoods, promotes tourism and economic diversity.
yeah, and I would like it to say investments and ensures that the PIAs are legal.
We can't ensure, a vision,
I know what you're trying to say.
I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
A vision statement can't ensure what people are going to do. What a vision statement does is tells the people who are looking at the city of Cibolo our hope for tomorrow. That is what a vision statement is supposed
Right,
to
specifically
do.
addressing the master plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we can't,
okay.
okay, you got it.
All right, we're gonna work on your vision statement. This part was to get your creative thoughts going around what a vision statement is, its main elements, and for you now to get back on yours. So, what is it about your existing draft vision statement that you believe hits some of those main elements of a vision statement? I'm just gonna pass around sheets of paper in case we need to start having you write down ideas. And we have a lot more papers.
Oh, I
We are
had
not
been
limited
looking
to
for those.
quantity
I
that
need to
are
know
given.
where y'all buy these. Thank you.
What are we writing down?
Oh, in case we need to write ideas to put up here, I'm giving that to you. Okay, so does this paint a picture, a forward-looking picture of our community?
I personally don't like the way it flows.
Okay,
I think this comes out with a statement of Cibolo is a city rich in history and small Texas charm, period. Period. That's what community is proud of his historic roots. That's still building off the council statement right there, and it's stating what, when we look at this master plan, that master plan committee's gonna look towards, and that's what we're striving for, is to solidify that, secure that. I mean, and then you start off with something like a community where residents collaborate to shape their civic and environmental future through well-balanced commercial and residential development. Civic is your civic duty. I mean, the word civic itself, it describes so much about the people and what you're striving for. It includes, being diverse. It includes being nice. It includes being whatever.
which is further defined in the plan, right?
Right.
This is just a statement. Then there's paragraphs where there are words that dive deeper into what this vision statement is.
Go, Mark, go.
So we're looking at the environmental side of things. I think it hits number one. Your civic includes number two, promote the health, safety, security, general welfare of all residents. It's civic, the word civic supports number three, promote community environment that will attract new families. We're into the environmental, we look at that. So there, we're looking at our parks, we're looking at our green space, we're looking at everything, which is our number one, priority necessary infrastructure and green space to support existing needs for future growth, projected growth. But it also goes down and we're dealing with through I love the term well-balanced. I'm gonna express mine, I'm gonna keep talking. I love the term well-balanced because that is something that's got to be controlled in order to protect the environmental areas of the city and to keep it, to go back to it's a small Texas town charm.
Can we still say balanced and not well-balanced, or should it be, are you thinking well-balanced?
I say well-balanced because
Well-balanced?
the future is to be well-balanced.
We came up with.
We want, the city wants more residentials, but you want residentials that are coordinated with the area. So like South Cibolo, you want it coordinated. That's why we had that big discussion about the different types of zoning things that we're going into, areas or whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to call them. I mean, you want to be able to balance all of that to where you preserve, ultimately, the history in the small Texas charm.
And we said.
And so, I love what you said, but I still don't think that we should have to say, well, balanced enough to preserve the rich history and Texas charm, or whatever it was you said. It needs to be balanced enough to be able to do that.
So, again, I
love
want
that.
us to, for the moment, stay off of the wordsmithing
Okay.
aspect.
Okay. I can't.
But what I want, the final version you have to, okay, final version you have to agree with all the words, right? There has to be consensus here, but what you're then saying is that you really like a short statement up front that is concise and easy to repeat.
Yes,
Kind of like you saw DeSoto.
yes.
Not
And
so much
IKEA.
here, but you saw in some of these corporations, right?
And I say that because if you take a look around the room, some of us have lived here forever, some of us have lived here, a few years or 10 years or whatever.
The
And
city
you
doubled the
came,
population between 2010 and
you
2020.
came-
There's some people that are brand new.
so you came to Cibolo, why? It's that small town Texas charm. It's that small town Texas feel. It's that knowing your neighbors, knowing your things. So I think that's why why would I want, if I was not moving here,
When I
why
feel
I
like
would
my
be
door's
looking
on
for a
lock.
city that would support that small town Texas feel.
Okay.
That's
Let's-
right.
I want someone else to comment.
Yeah.
You can express agreement or disagreement. You can just express your own thoughts. What are your thoughts on your vision statement?
I do like
I
the
am gonna
idea of having a short statement up front.
I agree.
Okay.
But I think we should focus, because the master plan is planning for the future.
Yes.
I think that we should focus on not what we currently have, but what we plan for the future. So we currently are a city rich in history and small town Texas charm. But I think to not only just state that you should say that it's a city that promotes the existing, or like something like that, that you're saying that this isn't what we are, this is what we are and plan to be in the future,
Okay.
kind of thing.
You could say as a city.
Well, how would you put that in, Ashley? Promote or enhance?
I
in this
don't
open
think that we should even start with the word Cibolo. Like
Okay.
in my head, when I'm reading it over, I read a city rich in history and small town Texas charm, the city of Cibolo, or hold on, I've said it like 3 times in my head, and I keep changing it every time. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I want to talk about the balance that it's promoting, or it's committed to balanced development. I
Okay.
don't think that you need to specify commercial and residential.
Okay.
I think development of the city as a whole is fine. And because the idea is that someone would maybe read this and they would be drawn, like, maybe I could see myself, if this is their plan for the future, I could see myself at this place. I like that we talk about involvement in the future, but I don't think that we need to go into specifics about civics and environmental future. I think that we leave it more broad and just say future. That because as a person with a young family, the word future means more to me than if you specify that for their civic and environmental future. I'm involved in both of those things heavily in my career and my life, but if I'm, looking for a place to start my family or a place to move my family, I'm more worried about my future. I'm not gonna get into the specifics about, oh, they're big on environment, and that's just how my brain works.
Okay, again, we're drawing out your creative ideas about your draft vision statement. Karen, be quiet. Do you want to add something, or just continue listening?
No, I mean, I agree with everybody that it's really long. And it's, like bullets and strict and, we were looking at these other ones that evoke emotion or just feelings about your community. I don't know if that doesn't give you any feeling of what the city is about. And I still don't agree with the word enhance public health, because I don't understand what enhanced public health is.
I took that totally out.
I
I
concur.
thought we took it out last time.
Carol, I agree.
Now,
It should be
you have
more
a
like,
principle that says that.
That's why
So there's a redundancy
I
right
took out enhanced public health and
yeah,
safety.
because you could be dedicated to, a high standard or something, but,
Please enhance public health and safety should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was read on the last time, that
yeah.
public health and safety need to be gone.
So this is just the same version as what was presented at November 30th, so the changes from that one weren't incorporated, we left it just as had been presented, so thank you for pointing that out.
Make it short and sweet.
So however the entry of it is, whether it says Cibolo or not, we could use the word invested in well-balanced
Yes.
development and
Yes.
engaged residents in collaborating to shape their civic and environmental, or,
Engaging,
You should be able to repeat
engaging
that after
residents,
Kelsey's
or
done writing.
yeah.
yeah, I wrote it down, so I wouldn't forget. Engaging residents collaboratively to shape their civic, or engaging residents
To shape
to
their
shape their civic and environmental
future.
future.
So,
Because that
I just want
encompasses
y'all
all
to
ages.
understand, there's going, after we have a lot of input here, and I think that you have clarity on what you want, we're gonna move over to principles. I'm gonna write like 2 to 3 drafts while y'all are over there.
Invested
You're
in
gonna come back and
well-balanced
see a new vision
development.
statement. And you're going to hopefully be able to embrace one of them.
And then
I want to see,
engage residents.
Claudia, I see your eyes over there. I want to hear what you're thinking.
As a city rich in history and small, I don't like small town Texas charm personally. And then we could say, I like how we're striving or thriving. I like striving. We want to
Invest.
be
And
here.
the action-oriented word striving, which is forward.
Yes, so we want to think, I'm doing these hands, I'm a teacher. We want the people who read this vision statement to think this is where Cibolo is going. That's what I believe, and I've heard several really good, and I'm a word person, so just bear with me. I've heard several words, in my opinion, when we say balance, that's what it means, balance.
You don't have to go into detail.
I love what you said about, I should be writing. I love what you said, but the other thing that I think is important for new families, not even people who are younger than you.
Yeah.
They are concerned
That
about.
doesn't exist.
the-
No, I'm just teasing. I know.
And they are concerned about their children as well. And the civic, there are a lot of young people, believe it or not, that are concerned about their civic duty to society. So I like civic a lot. How civic means a lot. I love that. Civic means you're going to come into your community. What we're expecting in Cibolo is you're going to come and you're going to give. You're not just going to eat and take from us, but you're going to, we as a society, as a civility, we're going to move forward. And I keep saying the same thing over, but I like what I've heard. I think some words are redundant. That's the word.
Do you like the word invested in well-balanced development?
Who's invested in it, though?
Everybody.
Cibolo.
The city, but also the community, everybody.
So-
That's the way I see it.
Small town Texas, we're not a small town.
So take out small town
It
and
says
put Texas
small
charm?
town Texas charm.
Yeah.
We're talking about that specific charm.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but if you're looking forward, are we still
I
gonna
think the
have
history
it?
part of it
No.
means more than the
The
charm
small-
part.
I like the history part. I don't like
We
the
don't got
small town.
horses and stuff running all around everywhere. It's gone. I mean,
What do you mean, the small town part?
Yeah, when you say small town Texas charm, you think about driving, down
Through
the
Louis.
old town with
I still think about
horses.
Slaughter's being over here.
They,
Yeah.
they still give reference for years after San Antonio exploded that it still has a small town feel, not a small town, but it still had that small town feel.
And it still does in comparison to Houston and Dallas. It
So
absolutely
what is
does.
that? What is that? Because it's not a small town anymore, but it has that feel. So what brings that
Community,
feel?
the community
It's
is what
the
makes it.
citizens.
If you keep that description in a vision statement, then when we get to guiding principles, and you write strategic goals underneath that, you're gonna have to be addressing, how do we preserve small town?
So instead of small town Texas charm, can you put a community with small town feel or feels or something like that?
Why don't, what,
Well, I'm sorry, but we do have a lot of ag still existing within our city. And I think when we say small town Texas charm, we are specifically addressing agriculture within the community.
I disagree, because I'm not on that side. And when I hear small town Texas charm,
I
feel
see the
like
ranch, I see the
downtown-
farmland going away really
No,
fast.
I see like the small downtown businesses and like you go to, the center of town and like that's what I think of small town Texas charm. I don't think of ag at all.
And when
Maybe
I-
I've never been in ag,
And when I think of small town Texas charm, I think of the neighbors on my block. We know one another, we look out for one another. To me, that's the small town Texas
And
charm. So it's different for all.
I think
Yeah,
if you
that's
take a
what
huge
you-
step back, that what makes all of these things kind of mesh is that it's community involvement.
community.
Engaged community involvement because
community.
it's the ags, it's the farmers, it's all of those things that are part of the community and make all the things work. It's the small downtown little boutique you can go to and things like that. It's your
My
neighbors. It all has to do with like taking a huge step back and just saying like community
It
involvement.
is community.
Well, then I would have to say that I would agree with Malcolm then, because we're just a bedroom community. So we don't have the small town charm, we're a bedroom community.
Well, New Braunfels had a post today, or yesterday, someone was deciding between New Braunfels and the Woodlands. I don't know if y'all saw that post, but she wanted to know, she was trying to decide to where to move her family. And a lot of the small town New Braunfels people were describing it because it still had the county fair, it still had the parades, it still had community activities like Wassel Fest, like Worst Fest. I mean, that's how they described small town, was
Yeah.
what it offered.
Community.
People feel differently when
Yeah.
you hear that small town Texas charm. I think we've definitely solidified
So I
that.
like community.
So
I
that's
like
what,
the word
they were
community.
comparing that to where Woodlands was just a lot of shops and some foods and
Lots
some
of
entertainment, but it
availability
didn't
and
have that
everything,
small
yeah.
town feel, which was that community connection.
So we need clarity on what that means
Yeah.
then.
Within the plan, we would clarify that.
So we
And
just
how
need to label it somehow
and,
up there
and how
correctly.
to promote that for the future.
Correct. And when we get to the principles, you need to be asking yourself, are these principles covering the scope of achieving that vision as we continue to grow? Okay, let's go over your ideas, because we're gonna get to a point here where we're gonna shift you over to the principles while I draft up 2 to 3 versions of a vision statement that incorporates what you said. Okay.
Okay, so what we heard was for preference for a short statement up front that is memorable. Focus on that future orientation, so not where we are currently, but on what we want to do or where we want to be.
of stuff. I think the word was something like promote.
Promote, invest, like in future.
Or dedicated?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Invested and engaged, I think is the.
Engaged. Invested in.
Following from the comment to remove enhanced public health and safety from the current statement. Had started a discussion about prioritizing the history of Cibolo over the more generic charm
Yes.
of what it is. And then just some keywords and ideas, again, going to include that it's future oriented, having engaged resident collaboration and involvement, that the city would be invested in well-balanced development, looking at civic duty or engagement, and then promote, invest.
As adjectives.
And can you add the word community? Because when we think about the word community, that does different things for different people. Thank you.
Is there consensus to remove enhanced public health and safety?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other thing, Kelsey, down where you have invest,
Yes.
promote, engage, or engaging.
Yes, engaging.
Thank you. I'm gonna be hard at work over here while Aaron is walking through your documents. Do a 5-minute break.
We're all sitting there. Okay. Are there enough chairs
We
there?
will move the mics over for you. Bring your materials with you.
Read us and give us our exercise.
Yes, there's enough chairs. There's enough chairs.
We're coming back to this table, right?
I'll do that. Why don't you support Aaron, make sure he's doing okay? I'll set you up over there. Aaron, you good?
It's in January, but it's toward the end of the month. We only do, yeah. And we won't jury trials until February. Well, we have lots of jury trials. We did at least 6 months that we haven't done jury trials. Piling up, everyone wants a jury trial. We had our first briefing today on your new system and how. Oh, you did, yeah. It's gonna work good, but like you told, Tracy and the guy who did stuff, there's no way that we can do this in the first week without doing it the old way. Because we're not giving us any time to do anything, especially over the holidays.
All right, y'all ready to come back to the table?
And a door that has no window, but there's like, it's like the ugliest.
She has hot mic'd us, so everybody be aware.
Yeah, it's on the left. It's right here. It's like there's a couple of homes and then there's that.
Let's take the bad one down there. Naughty, naughty.
I had to have Cheetos. She had
Cheetos are the bomb,
I was like,
diggity.
I'll have Cheetos. You see what I did? Oh, they're good.
I'm proud of you, Claudia. Sustenance. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could please all give our attention to Mr. Aaron Spencer. Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening as well. So the purpose of this portion of the workshop is to confirm whether or not the existing principles that we have, whether they actually convey what we need. So if you remember, and as you all have within your 2016 comp plan, there are some, they actually call them goals. They're actually not called guiding principles, but there's 6 of them. That is to, 1, provide adequate infrastructure to support the projected growth. 2, to provide for the health, safety, and general welfare of all citizens. 3, provide a community environment which will draw new families and businesses into the city and encourage existing families and businesses to make long-term investments in Cibolo. 4, manage the growth of jobs and businesses in harmony with residential development. 5, provide parks, recreation, trails, and open space to serve existing and prospective citizens and visitors to Cibolo. And 6, identify and preserve the character of Cibolo, which sets itself apart as a city of choice. And now y'all recall that a number of these were somewhat incorporated into your existing draft of the guiding principles as of the November 30th meeting. I'll just go through them really quickly. 1, prioritize necessary infrastructure and green space to support existing needs and future projected growth. 2, plan for and promote the health, safety, security, and general welfare of all citizens or residents of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities. 3, promote a community environment that will attract new families and high-quality businesses into the city. 4, balance the growth of business and residential development through responsible planning of city assets and land. 5, provide parks, recreation, trails, and open space to serve existing and prospective citizens and visitors and connect to Cibolo's natural features and wildlife. 6, identify and preserve the rich character and history of Cibolo. And 7, protect Cibolo's natural environment and promote the health and safety of all wildlife and domestic animals. So, as Mr. Reed had mentioned, the guiding principles we're looking at very high level. as we get into the vision and the implementation of the vision into those actions, that's whenever we're kind of at the ground level. So just think of this as an overarching guideline for us throughout the plan and for the vision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these, and I have these 3 different questions that I'm going to ask you all. And I'm just going to gauge your opinion on if these are good principles, because I don't think we had too much discussion at our previous meetings about these. It kind of seems like there is consensus, but just wanting to make sure that we get y'all's full consensus going forward on if each of these makes sense and whether or not we should, keep them as is, if we need to make any changes, if we need to take anything out. That's why we're going to go through each one of these just to make sure we're all on the same page. Those 3 questions I'm going to ask are, 1, have we left something out? Is there something in each of these guiding principles that are missing that we should include? 2, is there any overlap, or as we kind of heard before, is there any redundancy with 2 or more guiding principles?
There's a metric ton of redundancy.
All right, and we'll get to that. And then 3, do you feel confident this builds a strong foundation for us to create objectives and goals within the plan? So, as y'all see, the guiding principles from 2016 kind of mirror some of what we have now, but we just need to focus in on each of these guiding principles to make sure if they actually fit this current plan. So with this first one, provide necessary infrastructure and green space to support existing needs and future projected growth. We group these kind of into their own kind of categories. They might not make sense with you all. This is just for categorical purposes only. It's not necessarily going to be grouped this way into the plan. This is just for us all to kind of get an overarching feeling. Is this something that is new? Is this something that is redundant? But we thought that this maybe would be classified under adequate public facilities. So within this guiding principle, have we left something out?
Yeah,
And what is that?
there's a reason. We put prioritize in our whole discussions about, in prior discussions about prioritize necessary infrastructure and green space, and y'all look for line. That word, that particular word of prioritizing about the infrastructure and everything else, was a big topic that gathered everybody's attention. Am I wrong?
No, it's definitely prioritized. instead
Not
of
provide, prioritize.
It's prioritized, because
Yes.
that was a big, huge.
And I think we could remove the word necessary too, because,
Prioritize and necessary are the same.
yeah, prioritize infrastructure and green space to
So
support.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Y'all put it together as and, but yet in order to put in bigger roads, you're gonna take out some green space. And in order to prioritize some of the necessary infrastructure, you're gonna take up green space. So it's interesting that it's all in one sentence, because it contradicts.
Well,
But the-
in my opinion, green space can be part of your infrastructure. It's parks infrastructure. Just for my municipality, like hat.
Yeah, and so down here it has provide parks and recreation
It's
trails,
part
but
of,
up here,
it's
green
part of the
space
drainage,
with
green
infrastructure.
space is infrastructure when it comes to drainage and flood control measures and water green space is part of that. You have to have the green space.
So when we're putting in roads and going through people's property,
But we're-
we're taking up green space, but that's infrastructure.
Maybe.
So that's approved, according to this, is that correct? I just wanna make sure I am following, because it's in there together.
I'm not exactly sure what the word, what the green space is intended to be. We can't read.
I can't see that.
Okay.
It's not for us.
Something about PIA. Like
Public facilities, floodplain, roads, repair, PIA funding, low water crossing, police, and firehouse.
So if we're going to talk about adequate public facilities, let's define public facilities. That would be, or
Yeah, but
define
definition.
infrastructure.
An overarching, and then we get specific.
That is
Well,
Right.
so they're defining this as adequate public facilities, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So instead of crafting the statement about green space and adequate public facilities, let's first define let's define what we're talking about.
I think that the intent, I thought, of this exercise was to define secondary. Did I misunderstand that?
Well, how are you going to be able to do the secondary if we don't, if they're going to title this adequate public
How do
facilities?
you make a vision statement if you don't have a plan yet? I mean, same concept, right?
I'm not sure what these are priorities.
Yes.
So if they're titling this our priorities for adequate public facilities statement, our priority for adequate public facilities statement would be what?
Can I offer, if you have a concise statement here, what I hear Ms. Latimer saying is, you want to see sentences that follow this statement, that define what adequate public facilities are. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that in order for us to craft any communication with anybody reading this document, we first, as a body, have to agree on what adequate public, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, no, I agree. The definition of public facilities, if we're saying public facilities, people think infrastructure, when you say infrastructure to me, I'm thinking roads, I'm thinking drainage, I'm thinking,
Electric and all
sewage,
this
I'm
stuff,
thinking,
yeah.
all
That
those
kind of
type of
stuff.
things. I'm not thinking of a public facility.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying let's define it.
But isn't this an overarching statement, and then your 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to define, number 1 is gonna be roads. Number
Carol,
2 is
what is the
drainage.
overarching statement?
To provide necessary infrastructure and green spaces.
Prioritize.
Yeah, we changed it. Yeah.
Or
Prioritize.
prioritize, right. That's your overarching, this is just adequate public facilities as a category.
Right.
And so within the chapters itself, to work it more into the definition, of course, if you're familiar with our current comp plan, it does have a whole public facilities chapter, and so within that, it does go into the very much specifics that I think you're capturing here. So that would be defined, I would say, at a more specific level within that individual chapter that's dealing with it.
Right, now we're trying to come up with the title of the chapters.
Not necessarily.
We are, got 1, 2, 3. What we're here for is, have we left something out there? Is there overlap or redundancy with 2 or more of
On
the
the
principles?
goal, on the
Uh-huh.
Right.
You guys can read, I don't have to read it
Okay.
for you,
Yeah.
but that is guiding us to what we're supposed to do. No,
Correct.
yes?
May I?
Sure.
By coincidence, we may have a chapter called adequate public facilities, but I don't want you to think that each principle is gonna have specifically a whole chapter.
No,
about
I
it.
didn't mean like
Okay.
an actual chapter. I just meant that methodology and that thought process. That this is a title of what we're working on. That it'll be further defined and so on afterwards.
So the green space and all of that is down here many times.
It
Well-
talks about it a couple
Yeah.
times.
Well,
Does
the-
it need to be in this one?
Okay, they asked this question number 1. Have we left something out? Okay, so my answer to what we left out is written on that piece of paper.
Is the definition of what that is.
Well, no, it's saying necessary infrastructure and green space to support existing needs and future projected growth for adequate public facilities. Correct?
No, that's not the way I read it.
It's not,
Okay,
I
no.
would not say it's for public facilities, because it's not gonna be that you're putting that in just for your fire department, or your police, or your city halls. These are essentially your public facilities that are supporting the desired growth that you're looking to have as part of your vision for it.
So, I just.
So then we
to pull
left
it- to pull it up-
all of that stuff out. In my opinion, we need to say, we need to look at all of those things, because otherwise we're not, it doesn't make sense.
How did we get here?
I
how
answered
did
the
we-
question.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. How did we get those preliminary guiding principles, and how did we agree upon them? And now we come here on December 19th, and we're not agreeing upon them.
No,
Help me, somebody help
It-
me.
So it's not, we're not agreeing with what's over here. It's not that.
Tell me.
So the thing is looking at adequate public facilities, the terminology and the title up there.
So
And
is that
how-
where the heartburn is?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what.
So
happened.
if that's the case, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Let's, we can
Yeah.
just blank
That's
that
not-
out.
that's not the
For our own purposes and for you all to kind of conceptualize each of these guiding principles, we had put that as,
Like a category.
as a category.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's not-
if we could just, I guess, we just focus on this
This is
bottom
guiding
portion.
principle number one.
Number one. This is
Okay.
guiding principle number one.
Yeah.
So within
Okay.
guiding principle number one, excluding this top layer, did we leave something out?
I don't think anything was left out, in my opinion. I think it's too wordy though, but that's okay.
So the preliminary, the guiding principle from 2016 read, provide adequate infrastructure to support projected growth.
Yep.
And this
And
says,
the reason why we changed it, I believe, if my memory is serving me correctly, is because the push to support existing needs was the biggest thing. Because a lot of citizens don't believe that our infrastructure supports existing needs, let alone planning for future growth. So I think that's what, is that everybody's
what I
memory on
recall.
it?
One, and
That's
then
the
to
really the
prioritize.
change.
That's-
And then I'm not exactly sure why we added green space, to that one. I can't remember that part.
Big, well, we had a lot,
so the word provide,
No, we're done with
changed
provide,
it.
to
We
prioritize. We just,
prioritize.
they just did that, prioritize.
Yeah.
okay,
We're past
so
that.
so prioritize necessary and infrastructure. And this says adequate, so I don't care, that's fine. As long as we're not going to put it under a title of,
and the green space conversation came into the flood control. When we
Right, I
talked about
remember
water.
that.
Yes.
I remember the
Green
water.
space, so we gotta
I remember
prioritize
that.
it, quit line
Well,
development.
can we put flood control in there instead of green space?
That-
Because
it's-
green
it-
space is down here, and that's something different.
The,
Well, it
where,
talks about parks down below, right?
Mm-hmm.
where are you talking?
Say green space again.
Are you talking about open space?
Number
or-
7, number 5.
number 7 and number 5.
Number 7
Number
is
seven
natural
doesn't
environment,
have green space.
not green space.
Yeah,
Number
they
7
don't
is
say
natural
green
environment.
space, they
They
talk
said
about
open
parks.
space.
So I guess that,
And
that
yeah.
kind of goes into our second question. Is there any redundancy
Yes,
in what's in this guiding principle number one?
yes.
With-
So you would feel better if instead of green space, we put infrastructure and green spaces necessary for flood control? Or open space necessary for flood control?
I think if in my opinion, prioritize necessary infrastructure, public facilities, flood control to support existing needs and future projected growth, I mean, that covers everybody's idea of what's going on. And green space is down here with parks.
Yeah, I think we covered green space, so I think it can come out of this, but the question
Where do you see green
is,
space with parks?
it just talks about what green space really is. It talks about the parks.
I get
But
it.
infrastructure is part of flood control and public facilities, right?
Infrastructure is drainage too, so a retention pond that is green, it could be considered green space. So I don't know.
And what is, it's drainage?
Mhm.
So it can be different things. Can we just use the word drainage?
Well, we can, but drainage is infrastructure, so
Green
it's
just,
redundancy too.
green just covers a whole vast measure of,
So just leave
I
infrastructure.
personally,
It's
here,
defined later.
let me just give you, I personally like that it says and green space. And here's why.
It's okay.
The reason I like it is because on Tolly Road, they want to come in and do the flood control, and they want to channel. And we don't want them to channel. We want them to use the natural God-given channel and keep that flood channel where it's at, and don't jack around with it. So to me, I want to kind of leave green space in there, and maybe we could put in parentheses,
Later on, when you define things.
But couldn't you put that as a sub-bullet of your goals?
I mean, yeah, I think you can, but I think when you're talking about prioritizing keeping the floodplain where the floodplain belongs, and because literally we're getting ready to see Clomar, and then flood. That's what's going to happen.
So the green space, I'm sorry,
Go
Carol.
ahead.
The green space, in my opinion, and I'd have to go back and read the stuff I've read up about it. Green space is totally separate from your park space and open space, because open space is area that people can use. I can go out there and go kick soccer balls around. I can go do all this. Green space is natural elements, natural grasses, natural things that are designed to live there and help slow the flow of water or absorb the flow of water. So it is truly two separate
I would define it
entities.
just for people who are gonna read it down the line, whenever it gets broken down. You can leave it in, but then explain the difference for people who don't know
But at the
down the
same
line.
time, a retention pond, I have one at the back of my neighborhood on Country Vale. It's green. It's a giant retention pond. Kids actually do use it for play, but that's a different thing. But it's actually in a drainage easement, so it is infrastructure to the city.
So wouldn't it, isn't
So I just don't want,
green
I don't want to
space
be
in your
redundant at the same
definition,
time.
isn't that part of infrastructure and an overarching thing?
Yeah.
And then you can specify,
Yes.
drainage.
I think we're
and
pulling it out and
streets
prioritizing the green space to say, because of like what's happening on Tolly Road, where they wanted to channel it, and we don't want them to channel it. And so making the priority to keep it in the natural status.
Natural water flow?
Yes, the natural water flow. We have to tell the city bureaucrats, we want this as a priority. We want the natural
Yeah,
floodplain as a
but
priority.
You have to identify specifics within that overarching thing of what that means. So wouldn't these bullets underneath define what you're saying?
Yeah, to
Yes.
include infrastructure, to include green space for drainage and
Yes.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like,
It would be
ensure
defined.
Like-
definitions are
like
included in chapter.
Kelsey just
Yeah,
said.
and your list over to the
Asterisk.
side too.
Perfect.
Okie dokie. Does everybody have?
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
okay.
Are you marking out green space?
I wouldn't, but it doesn't matter. What's the matter, Claudia?
Nothing, not a doggone thing.
Do you want it marked out or not?
Let's keep moving, because I'm still struggling completely with infrastructure and green space. I'm struggling with that, so let's just keep moving.
Okay, and then the last question, do you all think that this builds on the foundation of what we're trying to accomplish with our vision?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I offer just two little things? I don't think it needs to say, future projected growth, just future growth. Obviously, it has to be projected in order to be planned for. And then just to support, sorry, there was another thing, support existing.
Community needs?
You said take out necessary, because it's
Necessary, yeah.
prioritizing
Prioritize
necessary is kind
infrastructure
of redundant.
and, to support existing needs and future growth.
Yeah.
That's it, sorry.
Everybody's on the same page?
Yes.
Ideally, I would like somebody to be just a Joe Schmo, to be able to open
Exactly.
and
Read
not
it.
be like, there are so many words that mean the same thing. It should read smoothly.
Yes.
All right, so we'll move on to the second principle that we have.
And the same thing, if you don't like this, then just ignore it.
Right, exactly. Which is plan for and promote the health, safety, security, and general welfare of all residents of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities.
Get rid of keep welfare of all residents, exclamation, get rid of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities, because that tells me you haven't done it and you aren't really gonna do it.
Yes.
So get rid of
I
all
agree.
ages, backgrounds, and abilities.
Perfect, and we heard that last time, so just make
Yes, we did. I
So,
think we,
I-
a consensus agreed upon
So
that
it
too.
ends right here.
Yeah, we did, well, what's the ladies, gentlemen, with the history? Before you scratch it out, hold on.
Judy,
Judy,
Oh.
before, that last meet, the last conversation, I don't know if y'all remember.
she wasn't here for that one.
No, she was here before that when we
What
had
did she say?
conversation. And she was insistent about putting in there about the abilities and the seniors. I'm just
I
expressing.
get
her
it.
point
I'm disabled
since she-
and I'm a senior, but I am a resident. I get it, but I'm disabled and I'm a senior.
no,
and
We
I'm a
can
resident.
capitalize
That says all.
caps,
It does.
A-L-L, and then it covers all that.
I'm just expressing her.
No,
I
we won't
get
forget
it.
about her because there's so many that, in the Brooks, that would like to cross over to Walmart safely. So we won't forget about them.
Right, and of all residents hits
I agree.
everybody
I agree. And it simplifies it,
Yep.
and gets rid of all those
all
words.
the, yes.
And then second question, is this redundant or is there any overlap with any other guiding principles?
Not the ones you put up there
No.
above there, that's a different story, I can't see them.
No.
So is this redundant?
No.
No? So do you all think that this guiding principle, do you think it builds the foundation of this plan or and vision that we're trying to achieve?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think the title fits it well.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the third principle, which is promote a community environment that will attract new families and high-quality businesses into the city.
I would like to do away with this statement entirely,
As a whole.
completely just eliminate it.
Can you give us a
Why?
Because it's redundant, the entire thing. So we're gonna talk about planning for the health and safety of all residents, right? That's everybody, including our businesses. And then we're gonna say promote a community environment that will attract new families and high-quality businesses into the city. And then the very next one, we're gonna talk about balance the growth of business and residential.
I think we can probably combine this one and the next one, because she's right, they're very redundant. I don't
It's
think
not
there's-
needed, yeah.
I don't think there's
It
any
is
part of,
needed.
you think so?
I think it's needed.
What is the next one?
Oh, y'all are
If you're
fine,
gonna
you're
have
fine.
quality of life as your category, then that should be number 5. Providing parks and recreation trails and open spaces.
I think they get rid of quality of life. That is not part of, yeah, like what she said. What,
Yeah,
Well-
we're not looking at that bowl. Let's nobody
we're not.
get caught up in that.
no,
We're
but
not
she's,
looking-
but
Unless
what
you're pointing
Carol
at it.
said is valid. Her comment is valid. When she was talking about if you're gonna call it quality of life, then we would go over to those other statements.
Okay, so can I make a suggestion, please? Can we not get caught up in those bold titles?
Totally.
Can we please not get caught up in those? Can we please address what we're here to address? Because getting caught up in that is driving me
Well,
insane.
you said that you feel like we should keep that, and she
No,
thinks
no,
we
no.
should get rid of it. Not,
Yeah.
not the quality of life, the actual statement.
Yeah, I think we should
Why
keep.
is that?
Because what we're trying to do is draw people into this community who will attract new families, who want to attract new families and high-quality businesses into the city. That is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I agree.
100% is what we're trying to do. So why does it not need to be there?
I think it is complete redundant on the two combine of the plan for promote the health and safety of all residents and this balance the growth of businesses and residential development through responsible planning of city assets and land. It's redundant.
Promoting a community environment that will attract new families is not, this is Claudia, it's not the same as we're
Balanced
taking care
growth.
of everybody. It's not the same. We want new people to come in that we are going to take care of.
That's to me the same thing as
Okay.
balanced growth.
I
We
think you could
decide.
combine them. I think that you could say, like on the next one, you would say balance the growth of development through the responsible planning and of city assets and land to promote a community environment that will attract new families and then just leave it there.
I can do that. Balance the growth of businesses and residential
See, because
development.
that's what
And
you're
I also
talking
don't
about
think
is
responsible
growth.
quality
planning.
businesses, that just sounds bad.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
we gotta have a certain quality before you
Yeah.
come here?
Well, we can't, like, you actually can't.
You don't, you,
I think you combine
Sorry,
the
you
two.
don't meet it.
Start with this, and then you add the first part and end at family.
If you are balancing growth through responsible planning, period. If you are balancing growth through responsible planning, period, you are going to attract the new families because they are going to know they're going to be in a good school district, you're not going to be overcrowded, and you're going to attract your businesses because they know that you're going to have a good business to person ratio. Go ahead, Marks.
Balance the growth through responsible planning that promotes a community environment that will attract new families
That's the same.
and high-quality businesses into the city.
I don't know if we need to say high quality.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
I'm finishing reading out. I mean,
I think that the reason why of cities' assets and land was added was like what we talked about over there, and saying the
Mhm.
city needs to invest
Yes.
into things, and that might actually help bring in businesses because the city is willing to, like Mr. Reed talked about with HEB, come into negotiations and come up with opportunities that are both beneficial to new businesses coming in and the city. So I think that's the reason why we added it. I don't know if there's a better place for it. Go ahead, just speak up.
I will.
Go.
I'm listening, I will, but I'm listening to you because I want to hear what you have to finish.
Yeah,
you to
I
finish
do
your
like
thought.
combining it, and I like the way that he said it. Yeah. I don't think we need to say high quality businesses. We're not gonna turn
But
away
so
low-quality
it's the same.
businesses.
So what we're
What's the difference
doing
between
on
high
this
and a low?
one,
I mean,
by adding that, by promoting a community that will attract new families, then I want to go back to the first statement and say, prioritize infrastructure to support existing needs of future growth and ensure public facilities, floodplain, road repairs, PIAs, low water crossings, and police and fire. Because it's you're going back and
Is
saying,
that not what infrastructure means? That's where I was caught up.
That's what
Where I was
growth
caught up
is.
No. Those things that you listed, and I can't see that far, is that the same as infrastructure?
It's providing for.
No, please just answer,
Ye-
my question. Does infrastructure equal those things you listed?
Yes, in the
Yeah,
same
that's
way
it.
growth
Just
is
say
new
yes,
families.
keep it moving.
In the same, no, you don't get to cut me off. You
Well,
don't get
I
to
get to
make
do
your
whatever
point
you're
and then
making your
say,
point.
and
You're
then
making
say,
your
no,
point.
you don't get to
I'm
make that
asking-
point.
But I'm asking a question because I need clarity, and I have zero clarity at this point. So
And-
my point is, if infrastructure equals
you
what
can
you're
read that.
saying, because I can't see what's written up there, does that equal infrastructure?
At the end, those all at the end equal infrastructure.
And
And
the
so-
growth of businesses and growth of residential equal promoting community with new families. It's the same thing. So if we're gonna do it there, because that, to me, that PIA is way, way more important. That, to me, is where we've gotten in trouble, where we as a city have lost money from Venado Crossing sewer pump, the sewer raising plant. That's where we've gotten screwed as taxpayers, is right there in those words. So if we're gonna come back and say balance the growth of business and residential to promote a community to attract new families and businesses, then we're going to go back and we're going to say the words like PIA, Public Infrastructure Agreement, that they did not allow us to negotiate, defend, or bring to the table to our council millions of dollars.
Okay, so,
But we are gonna add those things. They're gonna go, I just wanna be clear, those things that are still up there, they're gonna go in it as like a chapter, as a definition to expand upon it. Nobody said we're not doing that.
Yeah, but we're talking about words, and if we're going to do it, I want to see it done consistently. We're not doing it consistently if we're leaving that out of the other one.
What are we leaving out that doesn't mean it consistent? I'm sorry.
When you do it that way, you're defining them within the statement.
We're combining.
Yes, and you're defining it. And up in the other one, you're just leaving it hanging. To me, it's way more critical in that environment than to talk about the feel-good people, families. I don't care. Families.
What does infrastructure mean?
What does growth mean?
I didn't ask you that. I said, I'm being real here. I'm not trying to argue. I want to move forward, and I want to know, somebody look up, or I will look it up, what the term infrastructure means.
It's a broad
The basic
word.
physical and organizational structures and facilities, e.g. buildings, roads, power supplies, needed for the operation of society or enterprise.
Okay, bam. And so, when we say balance the growth of businesses and residential development through responsible planning of city assets and land, and I'm getting somewhere with this because I'm trying to help you answer your question. I'm not trying to be smart or rude. I'm trying to help you answer your question. If you're saying balance the growth of business and residential development through responsible planning of city assets and land, are you saying that infrastructure, because I want to hear this, are you saying that infrastructure means that list that you made?
No.
Oh.
Infrastructure that has been a problem for us is that list that I made.
Okay. So are we addressing what's a problem for the city of Cibolo, or are we addressing, what are we addressing in these preliminary guiding principles?
So these guiding principles will set the tone for our vision for the comp plan. So this is very high level. Think of, I don't know if y'all seen a comprehensive plan, but normally it will have like your introduction, your demographics, a little bit of history. It'll go into the vision statement, guiding principles, and those two set the tone for the rest of the comp plan. So going into those goals, these might be falling under goals in terms of PIA. Different things in relation to the infrastructure that can be further defined within specific chapters.
Yeah, except that we've all lived through the last comp plan. We've all lived through it. We've all watched people pay the price for it. So if we're going to do it that way for this one, which is fine, I don't mind that. But then I want to go back, and I want you to realize how important public infrastructure agreements are. We have a developer right now in the city of Cibolo who has a PIA, who has a road on somebody else's property. And the future thoroughfare plan that was going to take people's land for them for the toll road is still out there. So we have real issues with Venado Crossing, with the pump and haul, the issue with the lift station in Steel Creek. We have the $50,000 that we did with UP Rail. So if we're going to talk about global high-level things, all right, that's great. That's wonderful. But the problem is, in my experience, it didn't serve us. It didn't serve us. Where is that? Do we know where the UP railroad crossing is? No. So if you're going to go down that rabbit hole on this other one and combine these two, I support that. But then I want to go back and I want to put in there the things that I know have cost us as taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. And I'm not exaggerating.
That leads me right back to infrastructure. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
I'm done.
city assets, all infrastructure are considered city assets, so I feel like if we include the word city assets, that will help kind of.
Two suggestions.
Yes,
from
please
the
read
group,
them.
If it's okay, I can read
Yes,
those to
please.
you and then see if we might be a little bit closer to resolving this.
Yes.
And then moving on and maybe circling back to that one
Yes.
if needed, of course. So the first one was balanced growth through responsible planning that promotes a community that attracts new families and businesses into the city. So cutting a little bit of this, some of the responsible planning, tying into this.
Yep.
Another suggestion that was thrown out was to balance growth through responsible planning of city assets and land to promote a community environment.
I like both of them.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, that's just my vote. I mean, that's just my opinion. There's plenty of other people here with opinions.
I haven't had a chance.
Oh, like two people talking loud's ever stopped you before.
Well, welcome to your chance, Malcolm McLaughlin. Spit it out. Let's go.
It's just been enjoyable listening to y'all. I'm happy with it. It's great.
And Ms. Ellard, I know you had your hand up a while ago. Are you
I
good?
think they took care of it.
Okay.
Thank you very much so.
She had to go to the potty.
Which do you prefer, red or blue?
I'm with you, I like both of them. I think I'd have to see them typed out and really look over them more, but, they're both good candidates.
I would say, so some of the differentiations is this blue one, it just ends with to promote a community environment, and so it's kind of incorporating businesses.
Oh, and the other one says
families,
to
and
attract
everything
new
into
families.
it. This other one does maintain this, specifically calling out attract new families and high quality.
Not high quality. I did not take.
Sorry,
My thing was, in taking out the new families, is why aren't we promoting a community environment for people who already live here?
That's
Why
true.
are we just focusing on new people?
Yes, I agree with you.
Good point. I think I'm gonna go with blue.
Because they're trying to kick the old ones out to put in new ones.
Amen.
And people want to
Be
stay.
hard-headed and don't let them.
I am.
Amen.
I'll read this one out one more time. to
We all
just
got a
make sure.
little German
So
in us.
balanced growth
I
through
don't.
responsible planning of city assets and land to promote a community environment. Period. So we're kind of incorporating this,
Mm-hmm.
and then a little bit.
I retract mine. I want Carol's.
Yep, you got it.
Okay. Those are the Saturday.
Okay.
We voted for Carol's, then are we all voting for Carol's?
Yeah.
Good job, Carol.
I'm not voting for mine.
I've totally done that before. Made a suggestion and voted for somebody else's.
Why we have discussion.
Yeah, that's right. Good, yeah.
Okay, then we're good.
And do we feel that this builds on the foundation of the
Yes.
vision that we're trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And that was 5, right? Malcolm.
Those two are together.
So combine those,
Those
right?
two are together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is, what, 3 and 4?
Yes, 3
Yeah.
and 4 will be combined.
And so are you doing 5 right now?
Yes, ma'am.
So 5 and 7, I think, could probably also be combined. Anybody else have any comment? Okay.
Next to it, and
I agree.
you can ask Miss Carol to draft them.
All right. Way to go, Carol.
She's already got it.
So I'll just
One
read
might
it
be
off.
my limit.
She does love her part.
So number 5 reads, provide parks, recreation, trails, and open space to serve existing and prospective citizens and visitors and connect to Cibolo's natural features and wildlife. And number 7 reads, protect Cibolo's natural environment and promote the health and safety of all wildlife and domestic animals.
I agree that these could probably be combined, that they are redundant.
There is redundancy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that it says to serve existing and prospective citizens. I think that it could just be, to serve citizens and visitors.
Yeah.
I like the idea of including visitors though, because I would like to see more people come to Cibolo for things. We do have some cool things, yeah.
Yeah, we need to.
I agree. If you take that out, I think.
We need to start being a.
Just to
destination.
serve citizens and visitors.
Get
Get
other
some
people's-
ballparks out here,
Well,
some,
get other people's money.
yes, yeah.
You have War Woods, which is a
Yeah.
huge
Yep.
draw for foreigners from all over. So, I mean.
And now it's a
visitors,
city park.
We don't focus on tourism or visitors enough, so.
So before I read it, I'm just gonna scratch through, so say, right now, we may have other changes, but right now, provide parks, recreation, trails, and open space to serve citizens and visitors.
Yep.
And then we can continue that on that. Just take this out then.
Connect to.
All right. Is there anything else? Do you think we should take out or is missing?
Well, and say you could put and connect, or and protection, or and connects and protects Cibolo's natural features and wildlife. And you could totally do away with
There
number
you
7.
go. And
I don't think
connect.
you could, I think you could do away with connect to and just say protect, just say for
Protect
citizens and visitors.
Yeah, I don't think that-
Protect Cibolo's natural environment and promote safety for wild and domestic animals or.
I just,
I don't think we ever put as many domestic animals on the loose as the wildlife.
Well, we had a fox in the high school today.
But I think it's more important to protect children than foxes. That's
Well,
just
not
me.
today, that was last week.
That's just me. I think it's more important to protect children than foxes.
Well, I think they're talking about in this
I know,
particular.
I know. I'm making a joke. But
I
I'm
think-
serious.
I think what she's saying is end it at visitors, and then we add to it to protect Cibilo's natural environment,
Right.
natural environment,
Natural features and
comma,
wildlife.
features and wildlife.
Right.
And promote
To
wildlife and
serve
domestic animals.
citizens and visitors.
I mean, I have a dog. I'm just kidding.
Boy, you got that desk there on that one, girl.
Well, I like people more than animals.
I don't. I like dogs more than people. Hands down.
They don't talk, they're pretty good. They just bark.
Love my dogs.
Provide parks, recreation trails, and open space.
Yeah, how do you mash that?
To serve citizens and visitors.
I guess it's the want for domestic animals in there, I guess.
I don't know if you really need domestic animals. That's sort of like just.
I think the reason why it was added is because of the animal shelter.
We're not keeping it?
But-
No, I'm talking, we're.
No, we were just, he was saying that he didn't know if we needed to keep domestic animals in there.
Yeah, wildlife, I understand,
But
but
I
domestic,
think
that
the
just
reason
sort
why
of
it was
comes
added was
with
because of
whenever
the
you have
animal
human
shelter.
beings, you got
Yeah.
domestic animals.
Because needing the larger animal shelter.
We're gonna build dog
That's why it got
parks.
brought up.
But is the animal shelter part of the city's?
Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Say that word again.
It is not only a part, it's an infrastructure, it's also a public facility.
So that would be a thing.
Well, that's what infrastructure normally is.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not building infrastructure on my pocket, I can tell you that.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
because
we
I-
could take the domestic animal component out
That's
where
what
we
I
were
was saying.
talking about the plan for and promote health, safety, and security and general welfare of all residents. And you could add and something in there about the dogs and the cats.
I would just,
everything
I
with
would just
cats?
put to promote, or just to,
The animal shelter's
So I had to return it.
Do you have a meow meter?
My husband's allergic.
Oh.
I would just put protect Cibilo's natural environment and wildlife.
Well,
We
you
don't
would think
need
it
the
would
health
be,
and
but
safety.
having resided on our CIP list for over a decade without getting a single dime.
I can't tell you how many projects just get thrown in the trash.
Any other, I know we talked about matching, so we're good. I haven't heard a specific.
I'm trying to.
I just say.
Come
just
on, Carol, we're all counting on you.
Protect Cibilo's natural environment and wildlife. I
And
don't see
connect
why we
Ci-
need to do health and safety
And
and
Yeah, I agree.
And connect
domestic.
Cibilo's natural features and
Cross out
wildlife
health and safety,
and protect
Yes,
Okay.
the
and the
environment.
promote.
and to promote.
Just the natural environment and
And-
wildlife.
Natural
Of all-
environment
I mean,
and
There's been a good argument for, of all wildlife and
Okay,
domestic.
so
Yes.
provide parks, recreation trails, and open spaces to serve citizens and visitors while protecting the natural environment and wildlife.
Girl, you
That's what I mean.
amazing.
It's already there.
well done, Miss Her. Well done.
Y'all are gonna have to start paying her.
Good job.
Maybe she should go over there and help Mr. Reed.
I know.
I spill a lot of marker.
No, listen, everything going over here, you go scratch, 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 scratch.
Oh my good night, nurse.
That marker sounds reminds me of that Inspector Joe that used to work here for Cibolo.
Wild protection, wild protection.
He came in and told my builder, he goes, you may as well just go take lunch, because there's gonna be so much marker in here, you won't be able to smell.
The inspectors are bad.
Take out the,
When we built our
But we'll
house,
take
they
this
were
on
like,
here
we
so we
never
can
asked
capture
for
that as
first
well.
inspection.
Yeah,
Nobody does.
they know, they
All right,
knew.
only one more.
We had
Yeah,
gray.
yeah. I guess last
Which
question,
is-
do you all think that this
I have a
this
well-built house
is
because of
something
them,
that the vision is trying
I
to
mean,
accomplish?
honestly,
That
Yes.
this
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
All right.
Spencer.
Thank you.
It is, does
Yeah,
not
it's not-
overlap because we smashed
The
them
builder's
together and we
not
feel
very
confident
beneficial
that
to
it
them.
builds on the strong foundation. Yes.
Two.
Now, number 6, identify and preserve the rich character and history of Cibolo. So this is going to be a little bit difficult because that was what we were talking about, that it means something different to everybody.
No, I think that the character, and I think small town feel, or small, whatever we call it, Texas.
Charm.
That means
Small
something
town
different,
charm.
but I think that we probably all would agree that character and history of Cibolo is the same, but I don't know for sure. I didn't know that everybody felt different about the small town charm. Did we talk about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a really
Yeah.
difficult one.
Three, that's
too.
three,
You don't know until
with
you
the
talk
blue
about
that
it.
you did, yeah.
That's why it's important to
So
get
that's
all
three
time
and three.
before you give them-
It don't
On an
matter.
example,
It all,
on this
something comes
fixture,
up.
on the Seabrook example that's in the handout,
Uh-huh.
one of the guiding principles was, capitalize on Seabrook's small-town feel through appropriate land use regulations, development ordinances, and economic development. So that's how you could
Do that.
achieve that,
Mhm.
that statement.
There you go. And then that's
Aaron, you're
four.
not giving a whole lot of input
And then
on
there's
this one.
four.
Okay.
You're supposed to be helping.
He's
us out.
facilitating.
No, he's facilitating.
Yeah, all right.
One's here.
I mean, so if you all remember from your 2016 plan, we took a look at number 6 itself, which is kind of mirroring
Yeah.
it. We just didn't like city of choice
No,
and some other
we didn't.
words that weren't included into this revised version. So I mean, it is kind of similar to what we had previously. We just have to do a little.
What did
That's
you
gonna
say?
cost us a lot of money in that city of choice, redoing everything on the logo.
I also like this one on that document. It says, because we had talked about what you do. You had talked about what you do, and she had talked about what is available for you to do. And it says, promote Seabrook's reputation as a small town with unique identity and history through appropriately scaled programs and community events.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, I think I like that a little bit better. What do you think about it in terms of like our parks department
Senior
or
center.
our senior center or
Who
our,
determines what's appropriate? We need to be careful with
Well,
those
that's
terms.
true.
appropriately
determines-
scaled?
Who determines what's appropriately scaled?
The parks department in the particular case of Cibolo Summer Nights or the senior center person in terms of the senior center. Miss Simics in terms of Cibolo Fest. So, I mean, I think that there are bandwidth issues, human bandwidth issues, and funding issues. And so council would probably be funding these items in that term. How are we looking? Are we okay?
You've got, well, you still have to go over there, so,
It's 8:50.
We have 10 minutes?
no, you have 40 minutes to finish this and that.
I'm lost real quick because I thought we were on to identify and preserve the rich character and history of
Right,
Cibolo.
they're changing it.
No, I was just saying how we could fulfill that requirement, because you were saying that you weren't sure how we would be able to fulfill this requirement.
Who said that?
I thought somebody was,
Well, I mean, if you're looking at that, then it would be, we've already basically said balanced growth and responsible planning. Then we would just be identifying and preserving the rich character and history of Cibolo.
What is the character of Cibolo?
Buffalo.
What was it?
Buffalo. So, okay, let me ask you all this. Does this overlap with any of the other guiding principles that we have right now?
No.
Okay? So.
We have
secondly,
definitely left something out, though, because it doesn't,
something is left out.
yeah,
Okay,
something's wrong.
okay.
Because identify and preserve the rich character and history of Cibolo
Is a
It doesn't mean anything.
Thank you. It doesn't mean
doesn't
anything.
mean
It doesn't mean
anything.
anything. That's why I was trying to say with unique through appropriately scaled programs and community events. So you don't like appropriately scaled. So how would you say with enriching community events or?
Say your sentence again.
Okay. Promote Seabrook's reputation as a.
Don't say Seabrook.
Okay.
Just
Promote.
help me.
Promote reputation.
Thank you.
Promote reputation as a small town with unique identity and history through appropriately scaled programs and community events.
I wouldn't even say appropriately scaled. I'd say community event.
Programs and community events.
Programs, okay. So identify and preserve the rich character and history of Cibolo through programs and community events
I like it, but what would?
by providing for.
I would take out appropriately scaled
Oh, yes.
and just leave it as programs and community events. But then, the one that I was reading, capitalize on the small town feel through appropriate land use regulations, development ordinances, and economic development.
That's all up there. That's all up there.
We have that on the balanced growth.
I like the small town feel because that is something we want to incorporate in the community and see develop more as it grows.
So
Because if you're trying to keep that small town or that history and small town of Cibolo, then your ordinances and your regulations have to reflect that.
Will you please read what you, because you started reading it and then something happened. Will you read that again, please, one more time?
promote the reputation as a small town with unique identity and history through appropriately scaled programs and community events.
We got rid of appropriately scaled.
Promote reputation as a small town and unique identity and history through programs and community events.
And then I wanted to ask, why does it have to be programs and not just community events? Because help me, why does it have to be?
The senior program.
Like senior center and ideally in the future, a library and things like that.
Our
There would be
programs.
Yeah, so the meals that are served at the senior center is not a community event.
It's a program.
Hold on. So if we're talking about sense of place that, or identify and preserve the rich character of things, is, what is the character and what is the history? We're talking downtown. The Cibolo was, from the time I've lived here, Cibolo was Main Street and Slaughter Street and the bowling alley. That was it. You go back to when I started driving back, I don't want to go back that far, but 1980s, early 80s, 81, that was come to Cibolo and that's all there was.
Well, I think what
So
we're
is
trying
that
to say,
Cibolo?
that was one of the issues that you and I struggled with, because to me, small town meant ag, but to Christy and to Christy, and they were talking that it was more about the community coming together and being neighborly and more that sort of.
Just an example, when I moved down here was pre-Walmart signature, and at that time, so that's still a lot of development going on around Cibolo. But I moved into Old Town, and the reason I moved into Old Town is because I didn't have wood fences with my neighbors. I actually talked to my neighbors at the chain link
Yeah, she
fence.
said
We had a
30
gate that
minutes,
they would walk over
so
to
we
my
can go until
backyard.
9:30.
We left our doors unlocked. There was definitely more of an old town feel. There were no fast food places. We shared food amongst each other. We knocked on the door, and it was just us in that little neighborhood, and we all knew each other. It was quiet. You can hear I-10 trucks. 78 was quiet. It was definitely a community where we all knew each other, and we went back 30 years in that community.
How many people lived in the town at that time?
It was big.
3,000.
What year?
It was,
Five.
when was Walmart? It was before Walmart.
Okay, so in 2004, we were a population of 5,000.
That's
like
6,000.
Right, 'cause
When I graduated
moved
high
here in
school, it was
02.
3, and that was
Okay,
2004.
so let me just, so the identity that we're preserving, identity and preserve the rich character. I don't necessarily feel that we're preserving any of the character of Cibolo, but what they were saying is that we're trying to preserve a small town character.
So this community feel that she's referring to, I have this in my neighborhood. I bake cookies for my neighbors every Christmas, even with our wood fences. I bake cookies for my neighbors. We say hi. They know my kids' birthdays, all those things.
So I'm not trying to push us, but I'm trying to move us forward. So identify and preserve the rich character or rich small town feel, okay, which would be more defining than rich character. So say small town feel, and take out history, identify and preserve the small town feel of Cibolo, and then by through appropriate or through through programs and community events.
But I don't think that we should necessarily take out the word history. I still think that we should incorporate it at some.
Have a cow.
Yes, she would, and that's who's talking in my head. Because we do have a strong history here in Cibolo, and she would tell you. But I don't know how. I liked everything you said, but I don't know how to include history.
We got to keep.
Preserve the small town feel.
And history goes along with reinforcing the.
We're not trying to make history, people. We're trying to create a small town environment into the future. And the history has nothing to do with it, but.
Well, the history came from the small town feel, right? So can you continue no, wait, I don't know.
Identify and
preserve. Identify, can we preserve? It's already identified.
Yeah, that's
Can
true.
we preserve? And I'm just going to give you a different perspective. Just please hear me out. Everybody who we're inviting into Cibolo cannot appreciate the small town feel. I just want you to hear me when I say that, okay? Everybody we're inviting to come to Cibolo cannot appreciate those words in Texas, okay? So, we need to be mindful when we say preserve the small town feel. We need to be very mindful of that, because everybody can't appreciate that, who you guys want to come to Cibolo. That's all I'm gonna say.
Friendly people of Cibolo.
Yeah. I do like to.
It is friendly, and we want to bring.
How about promote the friendly small town feel?
Friendly, put friendly in there will make a difference.
I
Okay.
think so too. So we take out identify.
Friendly small town.
Preserve
And promote. I like preserve and promote because it's there, but I want this preserve and promote it. We want to keep that moving.
You want to preserve the
small
history
town feel
and then promote
and history and
the friendly.
Oh, okay. Promote the friendly small town feel as we promote or something.
through promotion.
Promote. Oh wait.
Sorry.
Promote. We want to preserve history. We want to promote the.
Wait.
She's writing it.
Preserve the history of Cibolo.
No, preserve the history of a friendly small town feel.
Yeah.
Preserve the history.
Oh, we don't want friendly
Preserve
because
the
shirts
history
dress
of.
Okay, we are going to do better. Promote.
Preserve the history
Go ahead.
of a friendly small town feel.
No, we're promoting the history of Cibolo as we are preserving the history of Cibolo as we promote I don't care how you put it, but it needs to say promote a friendly small town feel and preserve the history.
Well, the first thing should be preserve the history of Cibolo and promote the family small town feel through programs and
Community events.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, I wrote it down.
Preserve the. She said it. Preserve the history.
You said preserve.
No, she
You didn't say friendly. You said something else.
She said family.
Exactly what that said. Well, we don't want
Preserve the
family.
history of Cibolo by promoting the friendly, small town feel
Wait,
and
wait,
by
wait.
promoting.
I thought and promoting.
Okay,
I
and
think
promoting.
and is important.
Preserve the history of Cibolo and promote.
The friendly, small town feel.
Were we going with friendly or family?
Friendly.
Because instead of the city of choice, wouldn't it be great if we were the friendly city?
Yes. That is so much better than City of Choice. Whoever paid for that
The
and
big
did
friendly
that, we wasted
Buffalo
money.
family city.
We wasted money on that.
Yes. So now we'll call our city of Cibolo as the friendly city.
Okay.
I'm friendly. I wave to everybody on Main Street when I come.
Now, can I ask everybody to go over to the other place so that we can deal with Mr. Reed?
Not deal with
Get ready. We'll preserve and promote Mr. Reed.
All my neighbors that took those in the
We have one that used to live next to us, and he still comes back and says, like, he'll just drive by and park next to it and come up and, how's your kids? And, oh, you remember when I gave your kids that, I gave up my kids this giant, what is it,
Constructively
together. And it's just upstairs in our playroom, and it's like a stuffed animal that's brightly colored. I'm like,
I'm gonna be optimistic.
I'm stiff.
I talked about putting it on the curb, but
Like it never happened.
my youngest cries about it.
My granddaughter. Grab those speakers, if you would please, and thank you. I think we did a great job of
Oh, I do too. Much better. It's perfect.
You got that one?
Yes.
My husband was particle. We needed to get everywhere. but
We needed
he said, "What do you think
consolidate
will
that
keep her
stuff.
alive?"
This
It's
is
so
I just whipped it out of my
If
head.
you go to the store, when you walk in, you get hit by this just amazing sugar, sweet.
Where are you talking about?
Crumble cookie.
Oh.
I see, I'm not an icing cookie, so right now they have one called Ginger Snap, and I love it. And it's just like sugar before they bake it. Oh, I'm so excited to try it.
I feel like we did really good.
I feel like we did a lot of work. A lot of
Just ruffled a few feathers.
High five.
Oh, my feathers are
Come on.
my feathers are not ruffled. I spent 20 years on academia Air
Y'all
Force.
working together.
My feathers.
I think we did good. I think we consolidated
Absolutely.
7. What was it?
5.
Ended up with 5. 7 to 5.
That's good.
A very solid, meaningful.
I think so too.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's see if you can do the same on your vision statement.
Show us what you
Do
got.
another round of high fives.
Show us what you got.
out the door.
You got 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you the first version and get your feedback on that. We have what you wrote here. Here, would you put this back on a notepad up there? But you have page 8 that has the elements of an effective vision statement. This first one includes just your wording with enhanced public health and safety removed. There are 2 ways I wrote it. In this vision statement, your mention of people was the last part of the vision statement. And what you were aiming to be was the first part. I rewrote this in 2 ways. You'll notice the first one puts the mention of the people collaborating first, and then what they're striving to do. The second one puts what you're striving to do, and then mentions the people like this one does.
Okay.
Okay? So, 30 seconds, just read that. Now, I also wrote one where it includes a small town feel. If you want me to put that up, it's right here.
But you left out one of the key, and I'm gonna just, I feel like I'm gonna be speaking for everybody, one of the key words that we all talked about was civic.
Where would we put civic? You did
There,
mention it. Is it?
Well,
No.
yeah, I mean, you're just saying shape their future. They collaborate to shape their future. And the master
On the
plan-
bottom one,
the
you could
master
ask it-
plan- The
yeah.
master plan is about shaping the city, and the citizens are shaping their civic. It's part about,
I was fine with, I'll just speak up, I was fine with the removal of civic because I feel that it gives you a step back and it just lets people think of their own future. They may think of civic and environmental future, or they may think of, whatever else in their future. I thought that was better, but I overheard many others thought that civic was an important thing to include. So on the top one, I think that you could include civic by saying a community where residents collaborate,
Are engaged civically?
I don't like engage. A community where residents collaborate. On the bottom one, it's easier. On the
Okay.
bottom one, you could say where residents collaborate to shape their civic and environmental future, or just say their civic future. I don't know if you want to specify just one. Just say
you all-
civic future.
I want you all to tell me.
I don't mean you, I just mean us.
So, right, we had both civic and environmental
We did.
here.
Does those that thought that civic was important to include, should we include just civic future or civic and environmental future?
well, it's,
Or their civic future and, no, never mind.
so civic is basically relating to the duties or activities of people in relation to their town, city, or local area. So I think that civic future means their duties and activities. And I think that's why that word has a more specific, but very still broad.
Yeah.
But it's different from future or kids or seniors or maybe some other people who contribute to the community in different ways.
But
Duties or activities.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
what-
say, it does kind of.
it covers.
It does, I
that.
just,
I like civic for a number of reasons, but one specifically because we have a lot of young people that are moving into this town, and we want them to think about their civic duties, so we have enough people to run for mayor. This is where Claudia Walker is coming from. So we have enough people to fit council, enough people to be on the board. Yes, that's why I
so we
think
want to
civic
build a
is
community,
important.
the master plan. we
Civic
want-
future.
How about?
Civic future.
Where a community where residents care about their civic duty and collaborate to shape their future.
No, because civic, the
Okay.
generic civic word means activities and duties.
Right.
So I think they're going to shape their civic future, which is the duties that they're going to portray and the activities that they're going to engage in. So just their civic future is fine with me. To shape their civic future,
And make people look, it's gonna make people look that up, because
Yes.
people are gonna think it only means.
And there's a paragraph or two underneath here, and we'll explain what we mean by
Yeah,
civic.
yeah.
that's true.
So I
You
want
don't
to
really want
ask,
people looking stuff up to try to figure out a definition of your city.
Well,
But-
if you
but
don't know
under-
what the word means, you better look it up.
so
I know,
underneath
but
the
you're trying to
vision statement is
make it
less than
pretty
a
simple.
page that talks about that vision. And what you all say helps define this vision statement. And it'll be right on that first page.
I think that my support for civic future is there. So how do you feel about the word?
I'm fine now that, I'm fine with civic future now that we've talked about it. I still don't know that I would ever remember this first statement.
Okay.
You mean the
This
whole?
is our first statement, this is our first vision
This is your vision
statement.
statement.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember that.
Are you referring to what he said, that if it's not repeated, it's forgotten? Okay. Are we taking a vote? Is that why you would?
Yeah,
You-
so I
okay.
agreed to
Okay,
civic.
I'm fine with or without civic.
I like civic.
Okay. I like without civic. Okay.
I want with civic.
So the majority here wants civic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna include civic, but we can also
By what?
underline it so that when you speak with P and
The
Z and you
majority
speak
by
with
one.
council.
That's okay.
Because it really should be
We all had our
you
voices heard.
speaking to this vision statement. We'll ask Ms. Latimer to go. If she can't, we'll ask for our VP of the.
I'm not.
Chair.
President, the chair,
Vice chair.
vice chair.
Oh, okay.
Yes. For you to be speaking to P and Z and council about how this vision statement is interpreted.
I didn't know that.
Excuse me.
Now, in reading this, notice I took out that small town, but I also wrote these with the small town included. So promoting its rich history, what did I say? And preserving a small town feel. I know, I heard y'all say feel over there, so I took out the word charm and I started.
Thank
using
you.
feel. So,
Why is there a space between in and balanced each time?
well, y'all were debating
Oh,
on
well.
so-
Oh, no, I think we're, maybe we should vote on that too, or not vote, but have our voices heard. I don't want one person's voice to be louder than the others, you
Ms.
know?
Latimer, you want to start another round on that?
Well balanced or just balanced?
I don't care.
You're
I don't care.
I like just balanced.
I like just balanced.
Malcolm,
Just balance.
I don't care.
Balanced.
there we go.
We all said just balance.
No, no, no.
That's a city manager ploy.
That was a dad joke, if I've ever heard one.
Super corny.
Okay, hungry. Yes, right.
So, yeah, I think balance is balance.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
And you further define that in your principles and in the goals that fall underneath that. It'll be clear by the time you have the chapters written what you mean. Okay. Now, which one do you like more? Do you like where it starts talking about a community where the residents collaborate to shape their civic future and they engage in this, or talking about the community first and then this is where residents collaborate to shape their civic future?
I think the
Which one do you
first.
like?
The first. I'll vote for it.
We could just do one or two.
Yeah, I'd go one.
Thingies, Shoop, Ms. Her,
Are you waiting
Malcolm.
to see what they're doing? Is that what you're doing? That's not how this works. We all know you have an opinion.
What's going on? There's two.
What did he put
Malcolm
up?
McLaughlin.
Did he put up the middle
You better
finger?
pick the right one. Do you care whether it's one or two?
They're reading them over again.
One.
I have 3 members saying one.
Wait.
Is the lonely is the.
To shape
Two doesn't flow. I mean, I'm having trouble reading two.
I agree.
So you are leaning towards one?
I'm leaning towards one because it flows. I mean,
What don't you like about it, Carol?
huh? Number two?
No, number one. What
Oh,
don't?
no, I mean, as far as flowing, I mean, it reads better.
Okay.
Number two, it's kind of choppy.
I don't want to like wordsmith it to death, but
That's normally how one or two flows though.
is community necessary?
No.
Is the word a community? Can
I
it
think
just say
if- we-
Cibolo
we
is where
want-
residents
we want
collaborate?
Okay, we've been really hard in a vision statement.
We want community.
Okay.
And what I would say about one is
Please do.
you're not, this is just, I'm a reading specialist, you're not using ing up front. I'm just a reading specialist, so I'm wordsmithing. Your ing is down at the bottom, and that's passive. So, don't, I like it number one. Let me just keep it there. I like number one best.
I kind of agree with your community comment. Like, why just not say Cibolo is where residents collaborate to shape?
Because we are a community.
Earlier, y'all asked me to take Cibolo
I
out,
agree.
so-
No,
We are a community.
you're right. We did. We did talk about taking it out.
Oh, taking out community?
No, taking out Cibolo. And just say a community where blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if it makes sense without Cibolo is.
I actually like Cibolo is and that ... Really?
When I was thinking of taking Cibolo out, like in the one above,
Ellipses.
I was thinking a city rich in history and small town Chuck and Charm, the city of Cibolo, blah, 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 blah. So it was still saying Cibolo, just not right at the beginning.
I like the ellipses. Cibolo is. I like that. That means more to come. I really like that. I do.
So are you just focusing on residents and not businesses collaborating to shape the future?
Well, developments are businesses.
They're residents.
It says a community where residents
ideally we
collaborate,
want
so
them
it
to be.
does say residents.
Well, the thing is, residents vote. Business owners that don't live in the city don't.
Come on. Right there.
I'm
right there.
Hey, I'm an ETJ guy. I don't get a vote in the city.
And,
Come on.
and
playing devil's
businesses,
advocate.
and businesses are, what's the big one up there? They are part of our community. They hire our kids.
Oh, Santikos?
Santikos.
Yes.
They are an active part of our community.
And they contribute to
And
the
they
community.
That's right. So they
Mhm.
are our community. Santikos, thank you. I lost your name.
I was thinking of it earlier when we were talking about
Where
IKEA.
businesses contribute to our community.
But are we dealing with the master plan here? So we're dealing with the master plan, so.
This is a vision statement for the master plan specifically. Good point.
We now have 10 minutes.
That's what I'm
So
saying. This is a
I'm
vision.
going to give you a 5-minute warning, and then you're going to need to wrap up and get to the business
This
of
is a vision
scheduling
for
the
the
next
master plan,
meeting.
and it's for the residents, the voting, the people who live here.
I'm putting this up here only because this is where I said I fit in preserving a small town feel. But so far, y'all are leaning on this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is identical with an extra aspect of what you do.
To shape by promoting its
I still like alternate one.
preserving
Can we take the word rich out
a small.
and just put promoting
History.
its history?
Ooh, the lady, our history lady is gonna,
No, history's still there.
but rich is important. Rich, because it doesn't mean financial, that means something to
Me-
people.
yeah.
Rich means something to people. Like my skin is rich, dark and rich. It doesn't mean it's valuable.
Full bodied. It's
Full body, there you go,
Yeah.
like a good stout beer.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And, yeah.
I don't care.
Well, I do, I think.
I mean,
should
it doesn't
be.
matter to me.
What
I
do you
think.
I think I still like one
don't like
without
rich?
the small town feel.
You're good without it?
I'm
go
good with
around?
rich. I still like old one.
And remember, y'all were debating a principle that I wasn't following complete. I think it's in one of your principles, right?
What?
The history.
Preserving our
feel and
rich
history we
history
were.
and small
Yes.
town feel.
Okay, so it's in the principles.
It is.
Right, you don't have.
One,
Is that your
And this would
choice
be all
still?
one B, but,
Yeah.
are
one.
y'all good here? Alt 1B.
Which one is one B?
You like the one with the small town feel?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say that's four.
Wait, all one doesn't have small town feel?
It doesn't.
Uh-oh, one B does.
And this is the only difference right here. That's the only difference.
Yeah, no, I think
It's
that
rich
needs to be in there.
history.
I like 1B.
Preserving.
Okay, I like 1B. If I have to pick, I'm gonna say 1B.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, whatever it is. I'm fine with A or B.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm good with one, A or B.
No, we all pretty much agreed that we like that small town feel about Cibolo. I mean, everybody likes
We-
talking to
yes.
their neighbors.
Even though I
I'm
don't think
good
it's the
with-
same thing for everybody.
I think that's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
1B.
good with 1B.
1B. Everybody for 1B?
Sure.
Aye.
Okay, that was everybody. 1B1.
Winner,
Winner, chicken dinner.
Oh my gosh.
At Chick-fil-A.
No. Yeah,
God's chicken.
Chick-fil-A.
I call Chick-fil-A God's chicken.
It is
That's the
God's
closest one.
chicken.
I'll take you there on
We've
Sunday.
accomplished
Because it's
vision
closed on Sunday.
and principles.
It is God's chicken.
How much time do we have left?
We have 7 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna let you close up and say what our next steps are. And I would like a picture over there where we're gonna have the principles and we're gonna have this
Oh,
All the good stuff that
I
happened here.
didn't. I've been running.
Perfect. Yeah, so I just want to run through our next confirmed meeting. That is January the 16th. That should already be on your calendar, as we talked about last time, but just to verify. During that time, we will have Kimberly Horn back as well, going over some of the future land use items, the master thoroughfare plan. We'll have an exercise looking at some of the commercial acreage and actually having you place that on the map to see what does the appropriate amount of commercial actually look like when you're trying to place it throughout the city. Just trying to get some scale actually to these items. The other thing that we'll circle back with you all on is because we did unfortunately run out of time to do the place types today. We might try to see if there's another way to schedule an additional meeting to go over that. That would be just staff, something similar to this. In particular, there are 11 place types. When we had our last meeting, some of them seemed to already have consensus, so I don't know that we need to go over every single one of them, but there were a few that we felt maybe just needed a little more attention and insight on that. So I will work with the city secretary's office on identifying some dates. Those will not be in December. You won't see us again, don't worry. We'll look for some January dates to go over that. But if you please could just remember January 16th, and it will be at City Hall for that meeting.
And also January 30th.
Yes.
For the joint MPAC meeting.
Yes, ma'am. So that'll be the next one that's confirmed is going to be January 30th.
Oh,
That will
yeah.
be a large meeting. That will be with the City Council, the Planning and Zoning
Man, y'all are working
Commission,
us in
the
January.
EDC board, and then the Master Plan Advisory Committee.
Yeah, I love how you guys make it populate on our
Yes.
calendars. I love that.
Yeah,
The
I like
CIMIC's
it
been
too.
trying to send those
I
out. to get
love
them on
how that
everything,
does
so-
it, because I don't even have to worry about it.
I have like 5 gallons.
So,
I had to get my
all right.
4-year-old a
I
calendar.
have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
So you do, why do you have so many?
Because I have
Have a
one,
Merry
and
Christmas,
then I have
Happy
a
New
family
Year.
one, and I have
Come
one
take
my
a
kids
photo.
can't see. It's got stuff on it for my husband. Then my 12-year-old has a calendar. It's just crazy. She has so many things going on. I need to know
You
like
have
what,
to be
what
able
day
to know.
pick her up. So I
What
had to
does she
teach her.
do?
She goes to school and then she plays sports and she's got UIL
gotta
and she's got
what
all the
sports does
things. She tried out for soccer but she didn't make it.
She's at
But
Delaby?
yeah,
My nephews, my great nephews actually are.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. People, my
Like, the
family's
calendar invites us to go to the annex, so
My
I went to the annex.
family.